commentary opinion. I did put a few links to some videos in the description that might interest you, if, like the first few topics I'm talking about interest you. And then we're going to be talking about some like more personal stuff at the end, but it's been a long week. And I'm sure a lot of people feel the same about like all this stuff in the news. And I didn't want to put things in the title in effort of hopefully stopping just trolls that have nothing to add to the conversation about like we're going to talk about a lot of political things to start off with, but like it shouldn't be political, in my opinion. In this, Brian McGinnis is the name of a man who was a Marine who is now running for Senate in North Carolina. He's a part of the Green Party. And hi, Javier, how are you doing? And if you haven't seen the video, I do not recommend seeking it out unless you just have to see proof for yourself. I'm doing pretty good today. Thank you, Javier. Oh, hi, Keith. How are you doing today, Keith? There's a extremely disturbing video that's been making the rounds in it and like other things. Like I understand it's kind of like draining for a lot of people, and that's what I was trying to wait until I wasn't gonna like further be just, more negative and just complain or cry. Like, been doing a lot of that too. So Brian McGinnis is a Marine who was at a hearing in Washington, D.C. It was a Senate hearing pertaining to policies with Israel. And he was forcibly being like escorted out by two bailiffs, policemen, whatever they were. They looked like police officers to me. Hey, Fendi, how are you doing? If you haven't seen this video, it is so disturbing. And he has a Senate, this guy named, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting his name. I wrote it down. Tim Sheehy. He's a Senate member from, gosh darn it, I can't remember anything. I didn't write down what state he's from, whatever, that doesn't matter. I think it was Montana. I'm probably wrong about that. But they were in Washington, D.C. And because the two policemen were having trouble side by side to Brian McGinnis, who was at this point of being filmed, yes, he was shouting, like horrible things according to certain people, like our sons and daughters don't want we don't want our sons and daughters to fight for a war for Israel and stuff like that. And he was, uh, you know, got a compound fracture in his arm after this, and it's all on video. You can see it. You can see the aftermath even. His arm is still pinned behind his back by these officers, and you can tell something is very wrong. If you're not aware, compound fracture means like the bone is like broken enough that it's poking out. No, it wasn't North Carolina. The guy that got his arm broken is running in North Carolina. If you're wondering, yeah, I seen that video and the senator broke his arm. So, and it's like the senator comes in to, I guess he thinks he's helping the policeman. And what he has to say is he was looking for a confrontation and he got one. That's not an exact quote, but pretty much that's what he said in regards to like, it, it's just unreal, like right in front of our faces. Any one of us went and like pushed somebody's arm into a door jam and it caused them to be harmed in that way. We'd be charged, and rightfully so. Um, so that was, like, extremely disturbing, and the only thing that could be next to as disturbing as seeing that happen is the room full of people that just sat there and did nothing. There were a few people that were being outspoken, like, "What is going on? What are you doing?" I can't been like, right after while he was still in the building, this one man was like, Senator so and so just broke this Marine's arm. And it's absolutely crazy that this is where we're at. If you guys didn't see Candace Owens on Pierce Morgan this week, she said what I think I would venture to say the majority of Americans are feeling at this point. It's not like I began to say this like political topics, but it's not. This shouldn't be political. It shouldn't be who's who did you vote for last? Whose side are you on? According like how you're going to feel about this Marine getting his arm broken at a public hearing. I'm guessing it's public, or was he a part of it because he is running for Senate? I'm not for sure. But the point is, he was saying what a lot of people wish they could say in such a setting. And for him to be manhandled the way that he was, hey, Anna, how are you doing? That could be a terrible strategy case. How are you doing? Yeah, and it's like I really appreciate men like him, but like as much as it is horrible to hear about and see, it's like how can we combat this? And that's what I was thinking too, Keith. Like we need to try to, be the light. As cheesy as that sounds, it is true. Like we just there is no option. We're not going to be as evil as they are. We're not going to stoop to their level and act like they do. And if we did, we would just be thrown in jail for the rest of our lives anyways. We would actually suffer consequences from being like that. And, okay, Brandon, I have no idea what you mean. So Kristi Noem was fired from her position as Secretary of Homeland Security, or, she's just like the head of Homeland Security. And according to her, and I put two videos in this description. There is a video that has this video I'm referencing to in it. It's a channel called AT2. I really like that guy and his content. And Kristi Noem is like explaining how Trump pulled her aside and was like, you did these ads for your state, North Dakota, and I really liked them. And we need to do the same. Like he's so fucking chintzy. Like everything is like a business business deal to him. And he said, I want you to do what you did for your state, but we're going to make it multinational. This is for the whole globe to know that, like, you can't come here and be illegal or something. Like, I don't understand um, I sincerely don't understand that. I don't understand why go through the trouble of Doge and then spend like $220 million was the budget, and then he turns around and gets mad at her. But she's saying like he knew all along. He's the one who requested it. He commissioned it practically, and she even said, "I don't know about that." According to her, and he was like, "No, we're gonna do this, like what, like kind of like whatever it takes, kind of thing." And so, it's interesting that, and this is what AT2 said too in his video. It's not like the people dying. It's not children dying in ICE custody. It's not all of the horrible things that have happened. There was like I didn't even honestly. I saw the headline. I didn't really look because it was so horrible. Like a blind man, it seems like, was let out of detention, and then like he froze to death, something horrible like that, like so much blood on ICE's hands, but you're gonna get mad over like the $220 million ads. You realize that was a little ridiculous. But if you're talking about a multinational thing, I mean, I think it's ridiculous. But really, when you consider it's like a global thing, it really isn't out of the realm of possibilities of people to be approving this. And she was in a hearing recently, and I don't know who it was, but somebody was like, I doubt Trump would approve that. But why don't you ask him? Or what is it everything written down in a manuscript somewhere? Like this was like some kind of setting where it seemed like it was like a meeting he had with Christina, and that this should be a record somewhere that they can reference to. Like he told her to make these ads, and then everything's just like a big distraction, right? Even the stuff that's like this, I feel like, oh, thank you, Brandon. I can watch you talk about no, no, no. Oh, thank you, Brandon. I am married, but that's fine. You can still feel that way. I have only been divorced 4 times, Grenade said. Um, that's interesting. Hey, Lone Wolf, how are you doing, Lone Wolf? Oh, thank you. Chicken soup gives people gas. Really, Grenade? I don't know about that. There's, I bet some and you could say any kind of food gives some people gas sometimes or all the time. This should be a guy telling you this every day because you are gorgeous. Oh, yeah, he does, Brandon. Okay, Brandon, I get it. Hey, Homer, dude, how are you doing? I do appreciate it, but I was wondering if you could explain why you need 60 votes in the Senate to pass a bill. I don't get it, Stand Man said. Oh, I couldn't explain that to you easily. I would have to Google something like that myself. You know what I mean? I'm not even sure exactly how many Senate and how many Congress. I always have to Google that like once a year and like how many of this and that are there. It was her goal. She'd have a different kind of life for real, Keith said. Yeah. Okay, Brandon. So it's not people dying. The detention facilities supposedly might have some issues with like cleanliness and germs. That was something I wish that I did more content back then, but I like years ago, I remember telling my husband that like there's going to be outbreaks of certain diseases that we don't have or we don't have the strains of here because when so many people just, come across the border, and I'm just being realistic, like I'm not being mean, but like the kind of people that are destitute enough to like be crossing the borders and stuff, they also are probably the ones that might be like they lack health care too, or they just plain all it's your choice if you don't wanna, it should be your choice anyways. I don't know about every country they're coming from. But, oh, hey, Rhett, how are you doing? I don't know, I had kind of a tough week, and I didn't wanna, like, come on here and cry, and a lot of it is everything that's going on, but there was some thank you, Gerard. Hi, Harrison, how are you? And how are you, Gerard? Um, I did spend a little bit of extra time on my makeup tonight. We don't have a fully functioning immune system anyway, Keith. So, uh, okay, Brandon. Yes, he does, Brandon. So I only had one other. Well, okay, so yeah, we're helping Ecuador bomb itself because of narco terrorism. That's another one too. So is that like technically the ninth country that Trump has bombed? But like, yes, they're being pretty secretive about it too. Ecuador and us. They're like, we're not going to say anything else other than this, and it's like just outrageous that we have. There was this really sad caller into C-SPAN. I don't know if I could say it went viral, but I think some of you probably saw what I'm talking about, where this person was on disability and talking about how their benefits have been cut so drastically that like they listed off what they had in their kitchen at the moment. It was heartbreaking. You could tell this person was being sincere. They're like desperate in a way. And like that is going on in our country in droves, and meanwhile, we have, like, all the money, to expend on, military, and isn't that something like 70% of our tax dollars go to the military? Right, well, my girlfriend called me after she got drunk on vodka and ate concrete. The cops are about to take her in, but she talked to them into just letting me walk her home. Crazy fucking day, I tell you. Rhett, I hope you're both doing better. Brandon, quit trolling with your flirty content. She's married. Reduce it. Yeah, Brandon, I don't want to be mean to you if you're not being a troll, but it's like borderline troll, because if you're not aware, that's what trolls do, is like they're very repetitive. So that's just the guy's an excuse, Fendi said. Women are confusing sometimes, Rhett said. Yeah, this world, man, this world is so messed up. I feel so bad for anybody that's like trying to find their bearings in it in any way. Young people, like I just have a lot of grace for people. It doesn't mean I personally would want to put up with something in my life, but like when I hear about people struggling, it's like almost like how could you not? The military and Trump are like bragging our high tech stuff. As society is 50 years behind what the government and elites are. Yeah, right, Anna? Yes. It makes me really, really sick to hear him talk about how he's like, Saturday's going to be a day. What did he say? Death is coming or something like that. He really is like acting in a movie. I'm talking about Ecuador, by the way. Thank you for clarifying, Fendi. Yeah, I agree. And that's why they're being so secretive about it. And it's just like, so I Googled it, like, what would make World War III, like a few weeks ago. It'd be like conflicts in multiple nations all over the world, plus like disruption in the supply chain and like everyday life for a lot of people. Okay, like, okay, so I guess we're not like quite there. I know it's happening for a lot of people in the Middle East, especially, unfortunately. And oh gosh, I watched a video on Puerto Rico, and it's just insane how they had that 8 years ago now, was that bad hurricane that wiped out a lot of their infrastructure, their electrical grid, and they're just like crumbling and literally crumbling in front of us. And like, but once again, we have all the money to dole out for bombing everywhere and everybody. It's so freaking horrible. And the devastation from all this, like they know they're going after what, over 40 schools now too. That is so horrible. Like everybody, and myself included, like, why aren't we all in the street right now? Like, why aren't we all at like the Capitol buildings of wherever that may be closest to us in our state or town or whatever? Why aren't we all clamoring at like whoever will listen to us, saying like how messed up this all is? Like, because we know we're like powerless, whatever they're going to want to do. They're breaking all these international rules and laws, specifically Israel, but us too. I mean, like, the- you know, um, we learned about things like the Geneva Convention and stuff in school. Like, this is what makes us better and civilized. This is why we're like insinuating we're not going to go back to that horrible place that was like World War One and Two. Like, we've put measures into place, like checks and balances we've all agreed upon, and like here we go. Like, we're just like a spoiled child. They've just let loose. They're going to do whatever the freak they want. They know they can get away with it, and they are. And, but that was what I was feeling a lot of this week, like, what can you do? And that's what they want. They want us to feel helpless. They want us to feel drained by it. They I really would love to see our militia, like, be like, "No, we're not going to do this." But I also know that "Hi, Greg, how are you doing?" That might not be good for a lot of people in our country. I mean, speaking about I feel like it's a part of it is, like, population control. Obviously, there's a genocide going on in the Middle East, that's undeniable, but, like, and they told people in Iran that the Kurds were going to invade, like, they were helping them and everything, hoping that the Iranian I don't know what forces or just the Iranian people would then, like, slaughter the Kurds or something, and that didn't happen, supposedly, and it's like, it's just so sick the way, these people have been used as pawns, and people over here don't care until it comes to the war. Then all of a sudden we like care so much. But if you really knew that it's like the cradle of civilization and all the history that was there, and like I still haven't quite grasped it. There's one YouTuber, History by May. She's Iranian, lives in Canada, and she has some content. I was just showing my husband one of her videos. It was like this beautiful mosaic art all over the ceiling of like some I don't know if it was a mosque or just some building, but it was in Iran, and it's like there's some of the most beautiful art. Everything, literally everything comes from it. Math comes from it's like we've been told that they're like backwards and they're the religious extremists and they are like inbred and like well that happens with a lot of places that are sparsely populated and hard to get to, you know. Like that same thing happens in like the mountainous areas of our country. It's unfortunate, but it's not like um you know something to like shame a whole group of people, a whole ethnicity, a whole religious group even. Like so many things fall into that, and like it's such a shame that instead of appreciating each other, it's like come to this and like there's so many things that were bombed in Syria that like we'll never get back. That it's so horrible if you oh god, just knowing about that, it's like we shouldn't be bombing. We don't need to do that. We can talk things out. We should be able to. This is what makes women so much more horrible than men, that we act upon our emotions. What is war? Is that not acting upon emotions? Is that like um the worst of the human condition? Okay. Good morning from India. Oh, hey, Sharon, if you're still in here, how are you? I hope I'm saying your name right. It's 8:14 a.m. where Sharon is. That's so cool. Call her Congressperson Quentin said. Blame everything on Trump. Geez, that's funny, Dodge City, because I didn't say one word about Trump. Or I did say that what is that, the ninth country that Trump has bombed? Because at a certain point, he does take some of the blame, especially when he's bypassing the congressional approval and all that he's like technically supposed to do. It's like, um, I think that invasion is wrong, Sunny Moon. And it's like, E especially when you're gonna try to act like you are trying to help people when you're just trying to further destabilize them. That's all we've ever done is try to destabilize. And like we haven't helped in my lifetime. It's been what was it like Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya? None of it happened and came to fruition. Hi, for Kitchen to Garden. How are you? Do you have a channel? Stock up on emergency food in a while. In COVID, World War III, or anything worse, Braveheart said, "Yes, that is a really good idea, Braveheart." I've been slowly we don't have a lot of space in our double wide, and I wanna make a video on that, but I also wanna, like, try to come up with some good solutions. When you don't have a lot of storage, how do you have, like, a good prepper's pantry, you know? You know, I heard someone say that in Europe they reported 1,000 deaths of American soldiers, while over here they're lying, everyone's saying only 6. Yeah, Fendi, I've heard a lot of people say that Yeah, I feel like you can't trust any numbers, you know? I don't trust any numbers from anywhere, from anybody completely, you know? Um, and that's what a lot of people, oh my gosh, you guys, Candace Owens on Piers Morgan, the stuff she said, it was so great. Are you joining the war, Kentucky? No, Kush, I'm too old. I think I'm too old and disabled. But even if I could, I wouldn't intentionally join because I work today and I'm tired, Homer Dude said. Oh, I hope that you have tomorrow off, Homer. I want to make sure. Well, she's on right now. Have a great night, Boston George. Okay. No, Mr. Carey, tonight you said, yeah, I haven't seen him yet. I, oh gosh, I haven't been on here hardly all the last few days. Like, I just was not in a good mood. Lobbying needs to be treated as treason, Rhett said. That would be nice. Long, who are you calling a liberal? This is like, I don't, oh, Kush, thank you for the $2. You look like my next one. Oh gosh. John Lennon has a great tune. Give peace a chance. I'm good, said Greg. That's good. Sending tranquility pillows down the river your way. Oh, thank you. That's really sweet. Yeah, I had a tough week in regards to my like special needs son too. That's something else I was going to talk about on here. It's like, you know, when it rains, it pours kind of thing. Oh no, that backfired. And now 99% of Muslims in Iran are uniting. Oh, good. Yeah. It's like Kyle on Secular Talk said, yeah, I didn't used to watch him that much. And now he's one of the people that I watch a lot. I can understand why somebody might like say liberal because it's like your opinion now, you have to align with some exact ideology. We've been trained, we've been conditioned to peg somebody for a political ideology right away. And it's really ridiculous. But yeah, I'd rather be considered anything but a Republican right now, honestly. That's how I feel about it. And that's because of people like Trump. It's not a reflection on anybody that considers themselves Republican, but I personally would not want to be considered a Republican. So I guess I need to quit being take like I don't take offense, but I just want to correct that like I've been a registered independent since I was 18 years old and I'm 38 years old now. And I don't think that it's a right or a left issue when it comes to genocide. It's a like human rights issue, the things that are going on right now. And that's why we had treaties and like just agreements set in place that we weren't going to do this to people and just take up upon ourselves. And it's just so horrible when you think about what's going on in the world. And that so that Kristi Noem adds to put ads worldwide to like instill fear in people about coming to America. Like it's the word isn't spreading. Like people who are potentially coming here legally with a what is it, H-1B or something where you're like a some kind of computer scientist or something, and you get to come here and do your job and make a lot more money than you would in your homeland. Why would you want to leave and come to a country like this when you hear that people who are trying to immigrate the correct way are getting taken out of immigration court, deported in horrible facilities where nobody can get a hold of them? And what made our country, part of what made our country so great is like, the Constitution was for like all people on the soil. It wasn't just like the people that we've approved of as official citizens. Because it's like so much moving of the goalposts. Rhett said, I don't want to be sympathetic to Islamic extremism, but I can so easily blame Israel for keeping Islam itself from modernizing. Yes, Rhett, yes. You just said a mouthful. I think you're right. I think a lot of it has to do with forces outside. Like Iran is a good example. They were progressive. They're women dressed like us, women over here in the 70s. Not that you should be able to dress however you want, you know what I mean? But I also don't believe that you should be forced to wear a burqa or hijab. That may not be good, but actually Venezuelans are happy when Maduro left, and so are Iranians. That means these people suffered under the authoritarian regimes, Jack said. Yeah, Jack, that's a part of the propaganda that they've spread. And I'm not saying that absolutely nobody was happy, but I've actually seen proof of people that are at protests where there's dozens of people behind them, and I'm trusting the translation because they're not speaking English. But I saw this one woman where she straight up said, I can't believe this is life now because I was like, yeah. She was like talking about how BB and Trump are trying to like ruin them and they know it. Like, I think a lot of them are pretty privy, especially after Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, that we're not there to help, probably. And bless the hearts of those that actually do believe that. Like, I mean that with all sincerity. Hi, Alvin. How are you doing? You know, Iran has also been planning for this for about 20 years, Fendi said. Yes, I've heard that. That's what I've heard. Like, a lot of people say they're not. Um, this isn't going to be. They're a big country, 90 million people. There's a lot more going on than whenever we tried to. And then they were saying that they already were running out of interceptors. Is that some kind of drone or something? But like, it's just silly. They could plan a few days. Remember, at a certain point with the Russia and Ukraine conflict, granted, take it with a grain of salt. Who knows but they said that the tanks ran out of gas. Stuff like that. It's like with all our capabilities, all of our technology, but still somebody somewhere along the line didn't do the math right or something, you know? If you think somebody's trolling, you can block them, honey. I'm doing fine, Clive. How are you doing if you're still in here? Yes, he's using tax money. That's what, like, so is that an answer? And I feel like, am I going to get my YouTube channel deleted if I talk about, like, what if we just didn't pay income taxes? What if we just see what happens? What if a lot of us, I'm getting ready to start a new full-time job on the soon this month. I'm going to tell you the exact date. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, I just I'm not saying I wouldn't file taxes, but it would just be cool if a lot of us were like, "You know what? Like, we're not gonna pay into the system." They're so horrible at budgeting and everything. I think it is that bad that, like, as soon as we stop, if a lot of us stopped, how quickly would anything happen? Would they just print more money? No, Mr. Carey, tonight. I already answered that. I'm like, wait, if we get out of here quick, it will be all right. Yeah, Alvin, I don't think we're going to, but I hope I'm wrong. I've already read the treason one. Point shoot, no. I am a quarter Colombian, the American South. I'm from Kentucky. It's not considered the South. I fight for no country. We're all on this planet floating in space, paying bills with fake money to retire at 65 and be too old to enjoy life. The system is wage slavery, Alvin said. Amen, Alvin. To retire, I already read the pitfalls of the two-party system in the USA. Yeah, Daniel. It's not. That Marine that got his arm broken, he's running under a third party, the Green Party, and I thought that was great. And he said he feels more determined now than ever. That was great. Yes, that's the kind of men we need to help lead our country. But I hate to be such a pessimist. And then I'm like, but even like I used to really like Tulsi Gabbard. Once again, I'm a registered independent. That doesn't mean that I don't like any Democrat, but I did lean to the right, honestly. But I would research when I voted locally and pick people based on how I felt about them. Yeah, not as a woman with my emotions, but like their history, what they said their goals were. And anyways, Tulsi Gabbard has thoroughly disappointed me. And I just feel like anybody that gets to the point where they do rise far enough, they become corrupted. It's inevitable. I can write a list. No, stop source. It gets boring. And now they're all coming to my country. There isn't room for the whole world. The anxiety of the people is crazy. Greg said, Greg, I don't know what country you live in, Greg. I'm sorry. Um, but I know it's like, it's so horrible. There's always been people all over the world that like need help and like I really do wish that the US could just like honestly I think we probably could maybe logistically it wouldn't work out to like just print out tons of money and just like help people because you can print out all the money you want whenever it comes to your war machine and your wartime efforts and it comes to you know bailing out the banks the helping what mortgage loan companies. Okay, see, like that Nick Hornberger, we block those people. Hi, Skew, and I'm sorry that if I didn't say hi to anybody that said hi, I probably skipped your comment on accident, especially when MAGA died on June 21st. Rhett said, 100% same DM said, I'm 56 and I retired from Forza at 53, just old man on the porch. That's awesome, Alvin, but I know you worked your butt off for a long time, but I'm glad to hear that you're like retired because I feel so bad for people that are older. And I'm not talking about 53 because I don't consider that like older. Um, Oh, I'm sorry. No, I think I accidentally unmodded you. When I was in the YouTube studio, it was really tiny, and I just did that. You have no idea of what's going on. Okay, YouTube sucks. Can you clarify? Tell me what I have no idea of what's going on. Are you trying to, you're one of those, you think that we're going to bring democracy to Iran? When was the last time we ever brought democracy to anywhere? If that's what you think. You have to be Republican or Democrat. Got you. Both are the wrong answer, Caleb Castro said. Yeah, no, Caleb, you don't have to be. You can be a registered independent, but I think I know what you mean. You're just saying, like, in general, like, usually it's like one or the other. Nobody's open to a third party. If you want to come to America legally, you know what to do, DM said. Yeah, but the thing with that, DM, is that there's people that are being taken from for a point, like, people who are doing everything legal and they're still being detained. In my opinion, I think that they have quotas and they're like ICE, they're trying to catch X amount of people a day in certain places, jurisdictions, what have you. And then so they're like, oh, um, a bunch of us are a bunch of dumbasses. We don't have any real detective skills. We couldn't even determine that the Juan Hernandez, whose wife we jumped on naked in bed on cruise vacation on a cruise ship, wasn't the Juan Hernandez with the record that we were looking for. When we went and got, went on vacation with this man and his wife. It's so bizarre. And instead of going through the hassle of all of that, and one thing I've learned about law enforcement after being around, I think I've said it before, like, somebody I was around was a cop a lot. They hate paperwork. They'll do anything to get out of paperwork. These people don't become what they are so they can, like, sit and do paperwork, even, like, a half an hour of paperwork, like, they'll avoid a lot so they don't have to do paperwork. Some consensus I came to some time ago. Go snow skiing, then swimming in the ocean on the same day, take advantage of the spring, don't get caught up in the politics. Oh, Zen, that sounds really lovely. That would be awesome. And I am getting in better shape. I have 3 hernias, but I'm determined to, like, get as fit as I can. Yep. Common people can't change politics, Alvin said. Where can you do that, Zen Fit? That sounds like some Switzerland stuff. I want y'all to wake up. Your vote never did anything. Oh, Caleb, I'm on board with you, Caleb. I've said before, I'm pretty disillusioned with the whole system, and I don't think I'm ever going to vote ever again. So I understand, but I also think that, like, I like to have some hope on the local level, but even then I'm like, I live in small town Kentucky and I've learned small towns are just as corrupt, if not more corrupt than the cities, they're just all corrupt. Thank you for saying I'm beautiful. We are living Weimar conditions, Retro said. Retro, listen to me. I always call you Ret and then okay, I'm sorry. I'm determined to get caught up. You can see by her eyes she has a good soul. Oh, thank you, Chip. That's such a nice compliment. Everyone needs to get their firearms license. Everyone, Barry. Oh, how are you, Barry? Yes, I agree with that. I need to get more knowledgeable. Do you like to play ping pong? Yes, I do, Frankie. Ireland, it's too small, Greg said. I'm in New York. It's a process to get a firearm, Red said. That sucks. Yeah, to get, we have open carry here, but you still have to get your permit, right? Or no? That's the thing. You don't have to get your permit. You can open carry without a permit. Am I wrong? But if you want to conceal carry, then you have to have your concealed weapons permit. Isn't that funny? But anyways, you get used to it. It's not super common, but it's not like uncommon. And I know there's people that would think it was crazy to like go to a restaurant and see a guy with a gun on his hip, but same in California, you can't get anything that holds more than 10 rounds, Barry said. Oh, yeah, that sucks. Hi, Starboy. How are you? Way Truth Life, Starboy said. Thank you. What rhymes with ping pong? What, Frankie? Ding dong. It was never about oil, Rhett said. Yeah, so what do you think it's about? Do you think it's still about the poppy fields? Weren't they even camping out immigration courts? Yeah, Slime, that's what I'm saying. Like the people that were going through the process legally, trying to do everything legally, going to their court dates. And that's what everybody says. You do it right and you follow the process. And they are doing that. And they're still getting, I don't know, Sunny Man. I have really bad eyesight and astigmatism, and my contacts are like old. But okay, I've been wearing contacts for 25 years now. Like, oh my gosh. over 25 years. I swear contacts have gone downhill in quality. Does anybody agree with me? A pair of contacts used to be like brand new contacts. You didn't feel them in your eyeballs. I've worn the exact same contacts forever too, these AccuView and a few different kinds of AccuView. But like now it's like brand new pair will feel like a pair that's like a week old after less than a day. I'm talking about contact lenses. They have gone downhill in quality. I wonder, and sometimes I think, and the same thing with mascara. Mascara isn't as good as it used to be. I swear, mascara is not as good as it used to be. But then I think maybe it's a good thing. Maybe they took some creepy chemical out that is bad and they realized how bad it was. Because that's what they do. They approve a chemical for use. There's like, I don't know how many. It's something like 2,500 plus chemicals used in everyday products. Something like 400 to 600 have been like thoroughly safety tested. And it's not until it causes a big problem that people, I am a label reader. Thank you. You're being so great with the modding, Fendi. Thank you. Hi, Jeff. How are you doing? I'm gonna write you and someone said something about Iran hacking the system and giving everyone 800 credit scores. I hope they could. Do you imagine? Oh my gosh, Fendi, that is hilarious. Okay, so I don't know if any of you guys agree with this, but like, I don't think my husband would care about this. Recently, like I had to get new tires on my car, and we didn't have an extra. Tires cost a lot of money. I spent good money getting Goodyear tires that had a 65,000 mile warranty on them, but I put like 25,000 miles on those. Granted, we're in Appalachia. I'm doing like Instacart where people seem to like love to order Instacart when they have like no driveway and shit like that. But like, and I understand a lot. Trust me, I'm in the same boat as them. I can't afford shit either. But like, I'm saying my tires got worn out so fast, a year. I had those tires for a little longer than a year. So I had to get a new set of tires and we didn't have the money, but then my husband got approved for this like Walmart credit and we used this credit and like, why are you getting a pair of It's not that he has the worst credit score, but I just didn't think he was gonna get approved for like a $700 line of credit. Like, yeah, he has a job. It seems to me like that's all that it takes. Like, if you have a job, they want to give you credit. I'm okay. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna get caught up now that I have a full-time job soon. I've defaulted on a $300 credit card, but I'm going to pay it because I do want to keep my credit score went up. I've defaulted on a credit card for like 3 months now. How does your credit score go up when like I have 2 things in my name? Now Chime is awesome. Chime has this credit building thing where it's like your debit card becomes like a secured credit card. So like whatever you have in your Chime account, you spend that month. If you've spent like $100, all $100 is looked at as a credit card that you paid off. Just so you guys know, if you do want to, like, we should be like, playing the game. If you We're thinking if our house doesn't sell and we want it to sell, we might have to refinance. So we're like, we need to get our credit in tip top shape because buying a house with a big down payment is going to be easier than refinancing it with crappy credit. And, you know, because we had fair credit when we bought this place. Um, And once again, I feel impolite because I was raised like not to talk about finances. Like you don't say what you make, you don't ask somebody what their salary is and stuff like that is like just rude and stuff. But I talk about it because I know we're like in the same boat as a lot of people. And I hope that it gives some people hope, especially young people, that like you can be working class and still be a homeowner. You can have a kind of crappy credit score if you still are working hard. As long as you keep working full time, you work hard. Housing isn't impossible. I know it is harder, and that sucks for people. We were going to rent an apartment, and the only apartments in the small town in Indiana were luxury, the only ones available, and they wanted so much money. It was, like, seriously, like, 4,000. This was 10 years ago too. They wanted so much money that we bought a house. We, like, weren't like, we were, like, looking back on it, I'm like, "That is so." I would have told us, like, "If you are thinking about it and you're in the position to maybe be able to, just do it." You should never get the house that you're approved for, like, the most money you're approved for, you know what I mean? Like, our first house was, like, around 100,000, like a lot of people's first time houses. That's what's so sad to me. That house is like that little house. It was a great house, but still, it's a starter home. Now it's worth well over 200,000. Like, It seems to me, I almost hate to say this, but it seems to me like the housing market is kind of going up again from what I see around here, the sold things, and you don't know for sure until it I don't even know if the sold is updated to what the price was that it was sold for. You know what I mean? Like if something goes contingent or it's pending, just because it's for sale for 170 doesn't mean that's what they're actually paying, right? And I want to say they'll show it at a certain point it gets updated because we watched it happen with ours. What's your opinion on a solution on illegal immigrant? And do you think we should have borders? Oh, yeah, Fernando, I do believe in borders, just for the sake of law and order. Like, so what makes our country such a precious melting pot is all the different other cultures and the people from other countries that have came. And what made those other countries? Some of it was defining borders. You have to define borders somewhere. You have to give people the peace of mind that like there is some process to who is moving into their country. I totally understand the sentiment. I do. I get people saying you can't um be illegal on stolen land. Like I do get that sentiment, but it's kind of like the same as living the sins of our grandfathers. Like we can't live in the past like that. I do think that black people and Indians should get reparations. I know Indians have somewhat, but I think like actually better ones? I live in central Kentucky, Amlanda, like right in the middle. If you're still in here, constitutional carry, is that what it's called, unknown? When you're like, I don't know the exact definition. I should know that. My husband is all about the GUM stuff. Like he knows a lot more than me. He has his permit. He always makes sure whatever state we live in, he gets it. He's had a permit in like 3 states, I think. Weapons I would prefer without, Sunny Moon said. Yeah, and I understand that, Sunny, I really do. Thank you. But it's like, now that there's more GUNs here than there are people, and I personally but, like, once you are raised with it and I feel more comfortable with it, and I understand some people would think that's crazy, but I rest assured knowing that everybody on my street probably has some. And I think that's why I feel better here, far away from a city. And I hate to say that because I don't want people in cities to feel unsafe, but what? Okay, I already said what rhymes with ping pong. Fendi, did I read your comment? I'm going to go to your activity. I'm going to write you. Just seen something about oil refinery in Iran got struck, so gas is going to go up. Yes, I saw that too, Fendi. I want to make sure that I read your other comments. I think I read all of them. Yes, so they're saying that gas prices could go up to as much as $7 a gallon here. King Kong Greg said, okay. Thank God for Donald Trump. Block. Yes, Rin, I talk about my eye all the time, and because everybody else does. You look like you really need a vacation. You should take a vacation soon, Charia said. I think I look pretty good. I was just thinking like how good my skin looks. I got up in my husband's face. I was like, look, I have like no bags under my I've been taking all my supplements. I realized I got all these supplements around the time I had my surgery. And then I didn't take a lot of them because the doctor said I couldn't before the surgery, yada, yada. I was backing off of kratom. If you don't know what kratom is, I don't recommend taking it every day, but I do. And yada yada. I have 3 hernias. Keep in mind, more judges and manpower to make the process more efficient, so it doesn't take years for people trying to do it the right way to get through the system. Slime, that is a very good way to actually solve some problems. Thank you for your input. That I agree. That would be ideal. We can add like 70,000 people to the IRS. We could, surely. Oh no, Ren. I wish just wearing glasses solved the problem. Trust me, I've talked to doctors and eye doctors about it, and they just make me feel like I'm vain because I thought that I doesn't that mean I might have had a stroke at some point? Because I have videos I made 7 years ago where you can see I've always had a little bit of asymmetry, but it's definitely gotten worse, and sometimes it's worse than other days. And I really do like feel it. I know all of you can't wait to hear about this, but I know that some people like there are some people that genuinely want to help or like think they're being helpful, but yeah, 38 years on this planet, most people have something. Like we all have birth defects. You know what I mean? Like hardly the human body is so complex. There's so many things that could go wrong. That's what I say. Like, I don't want to diminish anybody that's like suffering from depression. Like, I'm not trying to, like, all you have to do is think about how your body's a miracle. But it's helped me a lot on my worst days. All of the things that could go wrong with you, you came to Earth and you grew past the most vulnerable stages up until we're like geriatric. You were meant to be here, and it really is a miracle. It's like a miracle in a way. When you ever just sit, like, lay in bed and think about how amazing it is that your heart just pumps and pumps and pumps for like decades at a time, and everything in your body just works and just knows how to work. And how can people not believe that we are a soul? Like when we're like, obviously our bodies are just, and so that's what I've been trying to do a lot lately. It's like, is with all my health issues, I've like been kind of harsh to myself. And I'm trying to like tell myself like how I feel blessed just having, like, legs and hands that work and that I can work, you know? And I'm excited to go work at a warehouse 10-hour shifts because I thoroughly do like enjoy making money. And part of that is because I know I'm able-bodied and I know that's not going to be forever. And I'm looking at it as a stepping stone. This is going to be a stepping stone to me getting the working farm that is going to be like my family's bread and butter. Watch me. And so is YouTube. I don't think YouTube is going to be what gets me. I mean, maybe debt free, but it's always a fleeting thing when you have a monetized channel. Chime is good, so is OnePay, Brian said. Yeah, OnePay is the Walmart one, right, Brian? Lucky Kool-Aid, as long as pay bills on time, over time credit gets better. Yes, Lucky Kool-Aid. It's just a few like okay, so one thing that always got us, like my husband wasn't defaulted on credit cards, but he was like the debt to in the I mean the ratio, it was like you have too much on credit, because when you're like one income like us, like obviously if you have a credit card, you're gonna max it out. I'm not encouraging that. I'm just saying it's not crazy for you to max out. It's not like we were trying to just buying shoes and clothes with it, it was like medical bills and stuff. But anyways, that was one thing, and we've always had very minimal. Like I said, I have $300 in credit cards. My husband always has like a few thousand, and it is because we're lower income. You don't get approved for a lot, but I look back at that and I think it's a blessing because the people I know that are higher income, when they tell me what their credit card limits are, and I know they're not necessarily maxing them out. It, it's like insane that people would get handed like half of what my house is worth on a card. And thank you, Lone Wolf. I love you too. I love you, babe. I love you, Julian said. And Julian said, hi. Hi, Julian. Love you too. Everything here in California is at least 400K and up, and that's just a two-bedroom and one bath. Excuse me. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm drinking sparkling water. Barry, that is insane. I feel really bad for people. And California is so special. I lived there when I was a child for like less than a year. And then my parents got divorced, so my dad stayed, so we went and like visited him. And I do totally understand like the appeal of California and why a lot of people love it so much. It's a special place, but it's a shame, like everything that it's become. And one of my favorite YouTubers, Anomaly, he lives there. I know there's some people that, people think it's all liberal, right? The dreaded liberal. Sorry. Happy Sunday, Nay Ray said, or I'm sorry, I'm probably not saying that. Nay Rayan, na I'm sorry. How are you doing? Thank you. How many times you cheat your husband? Zero, so cheat. I would take a lie detector test. I have been honest and said we were apart for 13 months one time. I had my own apartment and everything. And then I did date somebody and I regret it. And if we separated now, I wouldn't do that, but we're not going to separate now. Hi, Greg. How are you doing? My name is also Scottish Barry, Greg said. Um, I don't think I could seriously like cheat. I think some people are just built to be non-monogamous, and some people are just like, I was gonna say loyal to a fault, but that's not a fault. As long as you find another person that's loyal to a fault, like, um, we're both a little. It's not just about being introverted, but you know what I mean. We're both very similar in certain ways. I feel pretty confident. Neither one of us have cheated, and if we did, we would, like, cry to the other one about it. I love you, slimy. Nice I'm not Scottish though, Greg. I've had this account for, like, 11 years, very good. Yep, they had gotten struck recently, Fendi said. Poor Western men, Sachit said. Oh, West is the worst. Well, yeah, I don't blame anybody for thinking that. But I don't know why you're here if you think that like Western people, especially women like me, are so awful. West is the best, Barry said. I think there's good and bad people everywhere, and that's something that we've been conditioned to think that like we're superior for some reason. And I've said for a long time on my channel, I don't think people that necessarily destroy the most, pollute the most. And I, like I said before, I know China pollutes a lot. China's building like a new coal power plant a lot and stuff, but like they also have like 5 times more people, or way more than that. I only troll neurotic egomaniacs, Greg Berry said. Me too, but this channel is interesting, Barry, Greg said. That's why everyone wants to live here. Oh gosh, you guys. Yeah, I don't agree with her on a lot of things, but she's respectful and actually has a personality. Oh, that's so sweet, Barry. I love that. That's what I'm not just saying, it really does make me happy to hear that because I'd rather have people that don't agree with me than people that I don't wanna make anybody feel bad, or, like, just decide they like somebody and agree with everything they say, you know what I mean? That's part of the problem, that's what I'm saying, like, this what's going on in our country, how people feel about Israel, it shouldn't be right or left. I think it isn't. I think that we all see through it, and we all see what it is, and I've said this for years on my channel. "Oh, so she is one of those, feminism is destroying the West." I don't necessarily think so. If anything, women having choice, see, it's like a it's weird. It's like women are the reason why things are the way that they are because we're like more empathetic and we react. I know a lot of it is like being too reactive. Um but at the same point, when you look at societies where women aren't allowed any power, they can't even drive, they can't have an education, they can't even speak in public, they can't show anything but their eyes in public. Um those economies aren't flourishing either. And it shows in businesses. Businesses that have like more equal female and male employees are the most productive. And businesses that are just female or just male are less productive than when people work together. And so I think that like I couldn't imagine women not being able to have the same rights being the reason why everything is going to shit. I think it's obvious it's a love of money. The way that psychopathy seems to rise to the top, like cream and milk, I just hey, that makes it sound like a good thing, that's not what I mean. The fact that, like, the worst of the worst are, like, control every aspect of society, entertainment, political, education, the same people often. Learning about Ghislaine Maxwell's sisters, did you guys know about her sisters and all the stuff they had their hands in? And her sister, when I was thinking, oh gosh, now I can't remember her freaking her degrees, and then she like started Magellan. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. In my opinion, I think she probably took that idea from somebody who actually started it because when you see what she went to school for and what she did with her life, it doesn't make any sense. But then she started the search engine, Magellan, or she started the company that started it, meaning they got somebody else's idea. It must be nice to be one of these socialites that all you have to do is throw around some of your mommy or daddy's money and take somebody else's idea and start a business with it and then get accolades for that when you like literally did nothing but you were just like born into this world and how they am I remembering this right, published, I know her dad literally owned McGraw-Hill, the textbook company, but I think one of her sisters was like a publisher, worked for a publisher. But yeah, I don't think women being able to have bank accounts and everything like uh, is why. I don't think it's like the breakdown. And I think social media, the internet, and all that's came with social media and adult media is way more of a proponent than like me being able to have a bank account. Women have been working always. There's always been a decent amount of women in the workforce. I forget the exact numbers right now, but it wasn't like literally all women joined the workforce after World War II. There was already like 20, 30%. And then, yeah, there was more. And then they stayed after World War II. And we did a great job when we had to step in and do it. And it feels good. It feels good as a woman. And I think I can speak for my husband. You're still in here, honey. Doesn't it feel good as a man to have a wife that can work and likes having her own Not my own bank account. Honestly, I just made that Chime account like out of necessity or something. I don't have my own bank account, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, um, my husband is the kind of guy, he's like proud of me and gets happy for me when I achieve things and make money and like because he sees it builds up my own self-esteem. He doesn't want like a fourth child to take care of. It's kind of creepy when feminism is a you're completely looking past the megalomaniacs that are also pedophiles and probably Satan worshipers, whatever that means to them, because there could be a number of different things. There's the cabal, whatever ancient, fucked up, secretive shit they're doing, what have you, Freemason, I don't know. But whatever it is, it's like that's the problem. It's not women having rights. And I think, there's so much to be said about Islam that I'm not an expert. One of like somebody I follow just because I think she's cute and has cool outfits. Like one of those like lifestyle influencers. She does make cool recipes sometimes. She's Indian. I had no idea that she was Muslim until Ramadan. And it's like, um, you know, you can do whatever the freak you want. And I think it's beautiful when people embrace certain traditions. And I kind of wonder, like, my copy of the Quran, what translation is most popular for the Quran? Because I'm almost like, okay, Joe Fells is a YouTuber who has Bibles from the 1800s, and he showed the difference in a Bible from 1850, I believe, to one that was like 1950, or was it 1888 and 1950? There was a difference. The one in the 1800s was talking about Palestine, Palestine this, Palestine that. And then the one in the 1950s changed it to, I'm going to butcher it, Philippi, something like sounded like Philip, instead of everywhere it said Palestine. So that was really interesting. Thank you, Michael, for saying you like my face. Somehow I go back up somehow. I don't know why I do that. Thank you, Gary. I really appreciate you, Gary. The West is shit, Vin Diesel. I'm sorry, I have to laugh at it. And so it's like, um, I want to say there's still a lot of opportunities just for the sake, just how big our country is. There's a lot of universities that cost too much. There's like a lot of specialties that you can get into. There's still room for a lot of like people to grow, I feel like, in certain ways, but it's definitely I don't e I think I'm more upset about, like, upper middle class people losing income than they are, and maybe if I were them, I'd just be happy to, like, have enough money and then some, but it's like, you should have more, no matter what your income is, if you're working class, you're not you should have more. You shouldn't, ever worry about anything if you work full time, period. Syed said, "I'm Pakistani, love you." Oh, that's so sweet, Syed, I'm so glad. Love you too. What's wrong with thinking we are superior? We really are, though. That doesn't mean we hate those that are not on our level. Well, Barry, I don't know. I just think that everybody it's like a family unit. Like there might be somebody that you're like, oh, definitely that middle child is like the CEO leader type, but like everybody lends their own thing. And if you didn't have one of them, it would be different. Even my special needs like nonverbal son, you know what I mean? And so it's like part of what I always bring this up in permaculture, diversity is key. Like diversity makes for a healthier ecosystem. And I think diversity makes for a healthier planet. We can't all be the same. And I think a lot of what we consider inferior, and I'm not trying to speak for you, but what a lot of people talk about, it's like because we've literally pillaged and taken their resources. I'm sorry. Because they have had their growth stunted in certain ways. Yes, because there's always been this colonization, this that's what's going on right now. It's not trying to bring democracy. It's a white man thinking that everybody needs to be like him, and it's not so. And I was taught by, my grandpa lived all over the world, including India, Vietnam, China, that the cradle of civilization is so important. There's so much history there. The people there can be the most hospitable, the best people, and that's something that History by May. She's a YouTuber who makes mostly shorts, and she makes beautiful content about like history, obviously. But she visited Iran a year ago, and yeah, it's just like breathtaking. Like when I saw one of her shorts, the inside of somewhere that was just mosaic mirrors everywhere, all in the ceiling, very intricate. And it's like, why have we never seen this before? Why don't they teach us shit about Russia? They don't teach us anything about Russia. If you were an American kid, and did you get taught anything about Russia? Think about it. Why are we not taught about like some of the oldest countries in the world? I wouldn't have known anything about China if it wasn't for my grandpa and his slideshow. Be like, "Yay, he's gonna bring us all this stuff back from wherever he came from. It was so cool." And he'd open a suitcase and like, oh, a lot of times like the chocolate was melted or whatever, but it was still good. And then he'd give us like trinkets and stuff. And then he'd get out the slides and we'd be like, oh God. And now I'm like, oh, I wish I could sit with grandpa and keep looking. How are you doing? I'm a billy goat, Timothy said. That's so funny. Goats make the funniest noises. And one day I would love to maybe have them, but they're actually one of the last livestock I would get. They're no joke. If you don't know about 'em, they're like escape artists. Germany knew about it long ago. No money lending, Alvin said. Exactly, Alvin Berry said. I heard this is replacing The View. Gary, Greg, oh, are you talking about me? Gary, have a great evening, everyone. Let's just treat each other with respect and admiration. Hi, Pyramid. How are you doing? She's way better looking than the whole View cast. Pyramid. I watched The View, even like half ass. Like, I always knew they were kind of like puppets, but I remember watching them off and on through the years. And the last few times I watched them, I just couldn't. I can't. I'm very open-minded, but I can't watch people that are so like irate and staunch in their views. I don't like Whoopi Goldberg guy. Oh, Alvin said, I know what you mean. She really. I didn't think she was like that. I wish we could go back to the early 90s when she was just in Sister Act. Pyramid said Maxwell. Good night, honey bunny. If you can hear me, I love you. He just texted me. Imagine being married to her. Blah, blah, blah. Talk, talk, talk. Never shuts up. Yeah, tremendous Ted. And now I get paid. Every month I get a check. And plus, trust me, I ask my husband, I'm like, not because he's like, don't speak until I say, but I'm like, can I talk to you about something? Like, I don't just like start talking. You know what I mean? I'm like, are you in the mood to listen to me talk? I'm sure she does more than that. I know I wouldn't leave her alone. I was like, yeah, it's awesome being married to you, Boston said to me. Oh, thank you, honey. Yeah, there's ups and downs in every marriage. Nobody has a perfect marriage, but if you want a partnership and you're lucky enough to have a good partner, if you're together as long as we are, like it's pretty visible if the people don't like each other or not. You know what I mean? I know you haven't seen my husband with me, but like you could probably tell by just the way I act. I can tell that with couples. It's sad. And I'm pretty proud of our generation. I feel like us millennials, we're just not married or we get divorced. We don't like stick it out for decades and decades and decades like the people before us did. 3 kids are enough. Glad mine are grown. Yeah, Alvin, me too. I mean, a lot of kids' life get destroyed, they are still in trauma, Sachit said. Yeah, that is really, really horrible, Sachit, and very insightful of you. I wasn't expecting a comment like that from you. I don't know exactly what you said it in response to, but I do agree with you. That's the root of the problem of so many things. And even when I talk about like the psychopaths, most psychopaths are made. Some are born that way, but like the people that run the world that are so horrible, they were once little innocent babies too, and, like, maybe a lot of them were truly bad seeds, but I do look at people like that, good or bad, and, like, everybody was once a little baby, and whatever experiences they had shaped them and made them who they are, and I don't hold that against people. Like, when people lately, there's this discourse that's kinda like, if you voted for Trump or ever supported Trump, some people on the left are like, "You're never to be forgiven." I think that's so ridiculous, and that's not because I did support Trump myself. I just think it's because you're expecting so much from people and like That's what made America America for a long time when I was coming up in the 90s, like, people respected each other. Like, yeah, you might be like, "Oh, they're Republican," and, like, roll your eyes or something, but, like, people didn't it wasn't this, like, pegging somebody as a Republican or a Democrat, and therefore, based on that, I'm going to take these actions or think these things of them. But anyways, yeah, it was traumatized kids, not caring about kids. Um, Bro, they were eating people, Caleb said. What are you saying that in response to, Caleb? I wanna know if you're talking about, like sad the Epstein files. Are you talking about, like, Venezuela or oh, thank you for the 100 bougie. Bougie goddess. Oh, that's so sweet. Times 3, thank you. And probably Satan worshippers. This is where you lose me every time you make a lot of accusations with no proof or substance and then run from it. Joel, Phoenix, nobody's ever asked me to prove that these if you don't know what I'm talking about, when I've said this a lot too, when I say Satan, I use that term loosely. There's a obvious good versus evil. This is my opinion. I think most people would agree with me. There's good versus evil, and these people, when I say Satan worshipers, that's why I said what I said just a minute ago. It could mean any number of things. They obviously they don't they're not followers of Jesus Christ. They're not followers of a Christian God, and I don't think they're followers of Allah, or they would be outspoken about that. And they walk around with their little red bracelets. If you don't know about the Kabbalah, you need to look up Karini Allord and see her video on it. There's everybody and their brother in Hollywood, and all these people that anybody that's anybody have walked around. Les Wexner had a fucking red. You know what I'm talking about? The red bracelets and, you learn about that, and it's like this ancient shit that predates all of it, and yeah, it's, what I would call Satan worship, and you're sacrificing or you believe in blood sacrifice is part of it, and I think that we've gotten enough proof that it's possible. Austin doing the river dance, Greg. Yep, the little hats messed with the Bible, Fendi said. Yeah, I wonder. J-Trax, why are you saying let's go hiking? Are you talking about the Alpine divorce stuff? Have you guys heard about that trending lately? It's so common for men to leave their women, like, in the middle of the woods that there's a support group for it. This woman's video was going around TikTok, and she was all upset. And I know I'm gonna be a mind reader. I know what, like, half the men in here are thinking, right? "She deserved it. What did she do to deserve it? She probably said something." The whole point is a good man like, you wouldn't why be with somebody that you think is so horrible that you're gonna, like, wait to seek vengeance on in the middle of the woods where she's, like, the most vulnerable? That's crazy. It's so common, there's a term for it, I guess it's coined from a movie or something, but anyways, there really is a legit support group, and I just think, if you don't like the person you're with, like, leave them. Gosh, it's so sad. Um, so when somebody says, "You wanna go hiking," I almost take that as a threat. I don't like anime, Michael. I don't have anything against, I just never got into it. Joel, did you not read the files? Barry said. Sachi, oh, Indian women are loyal. They know how to respect their men, and we respect them back. That this is how feminism going in India. Oh, that's well, Sachi, that's nice. I've also I don't want to say anything bad about India. There's so many people there, but just think about the story of the reporter, the white female that comes to mind, where camera battery died and then she got like gang raped. That's also what when you're like so against feminism, stuff like that can happen too. You know what I mean? And like the wasn't there a doctor in India that got gang raped to death recently? Probably because she's a woman who dared to be a doctor. So that mentality, that kind of misogyny kills women. It's called femicide. And I don't know if India recognizes femicide or not. They might. We don't here, but a lot of other countries do recognize like when a woman is killed just because she's a woman. We don't here. We don't even care about the fact that the number one cause of pregnant women here dying is the homicide, most likely the hands that got her pregnant. My husband answering, "She's not into anime." I don't know why that's so funny to me. Boston does river dance in a way I'd like to see them in a video of, and me too. More lies. If you're talking about me, I'd like you to state what you think I'm saying that's a lie, and this is a commentary channel anyways. This isn't Wikipedia. Which one has the right to Holy Land? Israel, Palestine, or Kingdom of Jerusalem? Oh, Snowball, I think that there's room for everybody. That's my answer to that. I am not trying to like act like I have a great answer in that, but I do not agree with what is obviously going on right now, and that's the Israel trying to take over like all of the Middle East, basically, or as much of it as they can. I don't agree with that. I think it's horrible. It's the kind of thing you just like have to have faith in whatever goes around comes around kind of thing, even if it is after. Like, whenever they meet their maker, they'll get what's coming to them. Alvin, Palestine does in the Bible, it says Jews were meant to live amongst the people, never a state, Alvin said. Todd, Russia is next on Trump's list. Do you think so, Todd? I thought it was like Cuba, if you're into religion thinking, Alvin said. Yeah, actually, Alvin, I have been looking that up more. I've been trying to find like a succinct video that will explain it in a way that like I can absorb in 10 minutes because I'm my brain. Because they despise Russia and don't want Americans to know anything and keep everyone delusional and thinking America is number one. Right, Fendi? Why they don't teach us anything? Better bring her something because those eyes are making me go, Brandon, okay. Brandon, you're too much. Um, you got 18. Yeah, don't put me in the same boat as you, Brock said. Kiefer, Gen X sucked at parenting and then try to act like they're the best. Kiefer, yeah. Yeah, humility goes a long way, like there's been times I apologize to my kids. Oh, hi TWC, how are you? Thanks for reminding me it's spring forward, right? Daylight savings tomorrow. Um, you're right. I agree, Kiefer. It's been my experience and they learned it from their like boomer parents, so you can't blame them that much. Or no, um, yeah, right. Well, Republicans in 2026 aren't the same as Republicans in the 90s. Yeah, Brock, that's true. Good point. Hi, Bougie. How are you? I love Jesus, Bougie said. That's nice. Alvin, I took a long test long ago, and the results said I'm a populist Republican, and it was right. That's cool. Woe to humanity, for we are God's insistent in using their divine power to create a world without God, Seth said. Hey, Gloom, how are you doing, Gloom? Good versus evil and crazy versus crazier. Yeah, I get it, like, whenever people say that stuff about, like, Satan, I'm like, trust me, I know I'm not for everybody, and if you don't understand the message the way that I convey it, like, fine, but that's the beauty of YouTube, you know what I mean? And that's why I like following people. Thank you, Gloom. That's what I said earlier. I thought I looked really good because I've been taking my supplements. Was somebody tried to, troll something. And I was like, I know I look good. I was just like, oh, my skin is looking a lot better. Is it retina or retinol? Gosh, I can retinol. My sister got it for me and it's been in my refrigerator for like a year and I've used it like twice. And I don't know what the expiration is on it. Yada yada, I'm trying to use it. I think it's the kind of thing, if anything, it's just gonna be, like, less, effective, it's not gonna hurt. I forgive ex-MAGA supporters, Lupe said. That's a good way to be, you can't walk around with hate in your heart over something you can't change. And, this one guy I follow, he says, "I was MAGA curious." He says that at the beginning of every one of his videos. He's like, "I'm so and so. I used to be MAGA curious," and it's so funny to me. And I'm not just saying this to save face, but that is kinda like what I was, like, I wasn't ever, like, MAGA hat wearing, I just was like, "Oh, guys, calm down," and I can admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong. A woman died because of that trending prank, Seth said. "What? We need reparations for conspiracy theorists." We'll see how many were right. Is that what you're saying? Democrats taking an hour tonight. Thank you, first class. Hi, Semitic. What do you think about musical talent? Ceramic said. That's a very broad question. I think it's awesome when people have talent. I know people that like have the ability to like play by ear and stuff. That's amazing. But the thing is, even if you're not like inclined naturally, you can learn an instrument and it's really good for your brain. I've been telling myself I want to start trying to play the keyboard to try to like help my mental functioning. We're having right and left activities where your right and left parts of your body work together, because think about like how in somebody was saying, this is just a theory, if you try to be ambidextrous it will strengthen your brain and the connections, your brain, and your right and left hemispheres. I don't know, it just kind of makes sense to me. The nerves are crazy. Like the way I follow some people, like, I know it sounds so crazy, but it's like your feet affect everything, literally everything. Like people don't understand how much your gait and like walking controls like everything. And like pain in your jaw could be coming from like so many places in your body, yada yada. But, anyways, I'm 38, Lupe. I turned 39 this month. I don't think I look greasy. I know you're trolling. I just washed my hair today because I found a tick on my arm. I was outside and like I didn't even feel it crawling. It was like behind, and then I had to like wash my hair even though I didn't need it. I do drink coffee, yes. Jeffrey. Jeffrey, that's so funny. Yeah, you have my permission to turn me into an action figure. Why not? But if you do that, you better send me a picture of it. But I know you're just joking. Kentucky people usually can play music. A lot of people are, yeah, ticks are evil. Hi, Jaden. How are you? A lot of people, a lot of country people have multi talents. What that jack of all trades thing. Jack Morgan said that I never heard the end of that. It's like jack of all trades, master of none. But then there's an ending to it that's like, but it's better that way. Forget it. It might be used for weird things. Try gabapentin. Can you just get that, Sweeney? Don't you have to give a prescription of that? Key said all we can do is just automatically, naturally adapt, improvise, and overcome to naturally avoid harmful intentions and learn with every healing breath. Yes and yes. Brazil, South America, Rio de Janeiro. That's so cool, Giovanni. Am I saying that right? How are you? I only have solid orange plastic right now. I give you props for owning you were wrong about the tyranny in MAGA. Yeah, Lupe, I even I there's a lot of stuff that I was like, I understand why it's hard for people to sit with, but I think that I've had enough ego deaths by now that I'm like, I'm wrong about something, and it makes me question why I thought that to begin with. But then I'm like, but that's why I've always said it. I have always said I was independent for a reason, and kind of like thought the two-party system was just a big. Honestly, ever since the Patriot Act after 9/11, that was when, like, my mind was, like, reading stuff on the internet, like, "This isn't right." They're trying to make us a surveillance state, and here we are. They're trying to take away all of our, security under the guise of security, what's that quote? People that think give up their liberty under the guise of freedom deserve to have it taken away or something like that. Um, but still better than a master of one, Barry said. Thank you. Jack of all trades and master of none, but still better than a master of one. Yes. Thank you so much. It is a prescription, Sweeney. Yeah, I have nothing against anybody that takes prescriptions at all. I don't mean it like that. But me personally, I don't want to just because when the end comes, I don't want to be like, oh, no, I need my prescription medication, but I totally understand some people can't make that choice, they have to have it. But anyways, I are you talking about because of the kratom, Sweeney? I don't know what you're saying that about. Focus on meta skills, you'll grow faster, Key said. Yeah, my focus has been really off. Well, you're human, we make mistakes. Thank you for saying that, Lupe. That's how I feel too. So, ticks cause Lyme disease. Yes, Sweeney. I took 2 weeks of doxycycline because I had a pretty bad, it wasn't quite a bullseye rash, but the doctor, yeah, I took it because of that. And so yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to like open up to you guys about something too. This is like personal stuff. I'm gonna veer away from politics. But I was really stressed out over the decision of whether or not to put my 8-year-old son in school. He is level 3 autistic. If you don't know what that means, that's like technically as far as how we rate things here in America, in the USA. There's like level 1, 2, and 3, 3 being the most severe. I don't talk about it that much because I don't want people to think I'm like trying to get pity or something. And like, I'm not just, he really has a great disposition. He's a great kid. Um, we aren't sure technically if he is like technically intellectually disabled because he can't do the IQ test that they use to assess that. But he is technically non-conversational. He knows words, he follows directions. He is potty trained. I'm not see, here we go. I didn't wanna he's not he probably will need help every day the rest of his life, you know what I mean? But he's higher functioning than a lot of level 3 people in some ways. See, I it's so hard to talk about. But I just was talking to schools because we have a few options, and it was like, we would love to both be able to work full time, me and my husband, but we don't because of my son that's still at home because I can't put a kid that can't talk in school. And I really was like trying to like psych myself into it, like this is going to happen. It has to happen. I feel like I don't do enough for him because it is very hard. It is difficult to educate a kid who cannot talk. Okay. I don't, I think a lot of people can empathize with that, but you don't really get it unless you've done it. And I'm not trying to say that my son is a burden or like make anybody who's on the autism spectrum themselves feel like they were a burden to their parents. That's one reason it's so hard to talk about, but it's like I think I'm atypical myself, and so it's like it's hard to navigate this world with a child like that with uh, is like compared to other autistic kids, he's the most autistic. Like they score it that way. They, you know, like is like the general population, and compared to other autistic people, this is the percentile and stuff comparatively. And it's just like, man, you're in your own little bubble at home and you're in your routine and your kid's happy most of the time. And it's just like a joy to be around in so many ways. It's like easy. But when you're like talking to a room full of experts about like everything your kid can't do, everything that's wrong with them, all the support that they need, the way that this one, and it was the school I had the most hope for. This guy is just like, trying to get me to sign up my level 3 autistic child. I am not trying to get any pity, okay? Or like pity him. The world sucks for him sometimes, and I hate witnessing that. But it is not me that I want you to feel sorry for. But this guy was trying to get me to enroll him without an IEP. We're like, absolutely not. Kentucky is the only state, apparently, the literal only state that tries to force every kid into mainstream classroom settings unless you fight for it really hard. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to fight for it. What do I have to do? He is not just going into a mainstream classroom. This is crazy. He is nonverbal autistic. Isn't that? I feel like that's mean to the teachers involved. I don't think that's right for the teachers to put him and his care on top of all the other students in the classroom and the other kids too. It's not fair to the other kids. And it's like, yeah, I know my kid deserves to have like a public education and everything, but I do not trust anybody with him. And it's been like a horrible week. It's been horrible just deciding like, no, we can't. I am going to go to work full time. I want to, but like, we're not going to be able to have two incomes. And there's a lot of waivers and stuff. Like, we have the Michelle P waiver here, and Michelle P is named after a woman now who was a girl who was on a Medicaid waiver for therapies because she was autistic here in Kentucky for like 7 years. And her family sued the state and made a great point and said, children who are on the spectrum shouldn't wait for several years for services. And they made it so there's no wait list, or at least it was very minimal. It was like a year, maybe less than two. The wait list for the Michelle P waiver now, the whole point of this waiver was so that autistic people don't wait for early intervention therapies as children. It's 10 years. 10 years. And we knew this. Like I've known this since we moved back to Kentucky, you know? And like it's so like any like I think I know I'm not the only one. I can't be the only one. Like I don't talk about it, and I know other people that are caretakers of severely autistic people don't like sit around and talk about it all the time because it's a downer. You don't want to bring everybody down. I bet I've had people, my own family members, like say horrible things like I think the world revolves around me because of my kids because I do advocate for my kids a lot. And I don't want to say like the history of all of my kids, but like this kid is the most severely autistic one, but like you know, we've been in this rodeo for a while, and I just like it's so fucking I wish I was high kush. I wish. That's another thing I wanted to apply for was medical marijuana because this job I had, they are THC friendly. Like as long as I don't ever like drive a forklift, which I won't. If you can network with other parents already enrolled and ask what options they considered or attempted prior. So what I've got in the gist through this was like talking to the psychologist that diagnosed him too. It just seems like a lot of like I'm sorry guys, this was so upsetting. A lot of level 3 autistic kids are homeschooled. A lot of level 3 autistic people have, parents that can't work full time because they need somebody to stay with them all the time. And it sucks. It's like um if Mama Bear said that she's communicating how well a stranger handle it, right? He said, I'm on the spectrum. He said, oh, yeah. And it's like, I just think it's so messed up to think about how there's like so many people and people say it's just greater awareness. And I do believe some of the numbers are greater awareness, sincerely, but there has to be actually more. I've been really stressed out, TWC, but I'm doing better now. And that's why I couldn't do anything for a few days. And I hate that. And it's like, I don't like feeling like that. And then hearing all the stuff about like war and stuff. And that day the Marine got his arm broken, I wanted to go live. And then I just got upset. I'm like, I can't. The best support is usually the knowledge in those circles of parents who have tried many things and independently researched. Right, Gloom? Yes, I know you're right. And it's funny because it's like years ago with the first two, it was like support groups and everything. And I know this is like an excuse, but it's just so different. The internet is different now. I don't, okay, I'm just going to say it. Every time I'm in a forum, a group, anything that has anything to do with autism, it's like it I can give you an example. I was just that this guy that made a video mocking the levels of autism. And that's what I said. I don't really appreciate you mocking the levels of autism. He was comparing it to a video game, being like, I guess I didn't score enough points to be considered a level. Like, no, because you're just so basically and I think I've talked to you guys about this before. And I still get comments, people commenting back to me being like, how is he mocking? And I'm like, mocking isn't just like straight up mimicry. Like that can be part of it, but it's not just mimicking, or else you would be saying mimicking. Mocking can also be like y- you're making a mockery out of something. That mean like making a mockery out of the levels of autism. And I found one commenter, and it was great. Somebody was like trying to challenge me again. And I'm not saying this about all people because I think I'm atypical. I know I'm not mean to people, but like some of those people can be so. This lady called me weird. Sweeney drives a forklift and smokes weeds. That's cool, Sweeney. Thank you for being a part of our supply chain. See, and that's part of why I don't talk about it, like people saying drama queen. Um, One thing that makes me a good YouTuber, I feel like, is that I am very empathetic and I empathize and I don't think about me, me, me. I'm like, God, if we are going through this, how many other people are? How many other people might know somebody who is? That arm snap was insane and they all kept trying to get him out the door. How did you not hear that? Oh my gosh, Anna, I know. It's so terrible. It's just like a what would it be? Allegory for everything in our country? The Marine, the man who served for us in our freedom, right? Says, we don't want our sons and daughters to fight wars for Israel. And he literally gets like ushered out, like he's saying, I'm gonna bomb the place or something like that. And everybody just sitting there with their hands in their laps, like I get kicked out of sport group because I rather get to the healing rapidly. He said. um, Hi, how are you? I'm not going to be at Sreyas. Sreyas. I wish I could say your name. Sreyas. It's pretty. Even though I can't say, I can tell it's pretty. Hi, Sunny Moon. Mirroring is a thing, he said. And I don't see like I was complaining to my husband about it because like these adult people these people I don't know when you got diagnosed, Keith, and I think it's great when people get diagnosed as adults. I'm not saying anything about that, but they want to act like they oh my God, it's so hard to talk about because I do get it. I do understand feeling gaslit, like you don't have enough autism. You're not autistic enough to be considered as autistic as the people that stem constantly and are nonverbal and stuff. But it's this guy's channel. He's basically saying level 3 autism isn't a thing, that that's intellectual disability. And that's what I was trying to say. No, they do test for intellectual disability. They do if somebody is level 3 or they're testing and they're like that autistic, they're going to be testing for intellectual disability. And people talking about how um the woman that called me weird said she was a DJ her entire 20s. Like, yeah, I'm not saying you can't be autistic, but the people like her trying to act like they struggle as much as my son. I'm sorry. I can't take you seriously. And I try to be as nice and respectful as possible. And like I was just saying, I can't believe you would mock levels, but you want people to empathize with you and your struggles. At the same time, you're trying to talk about how like people don't really struggle. Um, they just don't want to be associated with people who are intellectually disabled, in my opinion. Covering drama more like it. And like Keith said, it's so unfortunate. It's a thing with I've been in so many homeschool groups, so many mom things. Okay, so many like different groups. There's something about autism, and it's because I used to be the mom of the really high functioning kid, that the moms of the lower functioning kids would be like, "You just don't get it." There'd always be that. And now I have the low functioning, very, very autistic kid, and I always kind of got it, but I get where they're coming from. That's like, it is like a lot of kids need help, even if they are higher functioning, they still need supports. But you can't say I don't know, it's just crazy. I was trying to think of, like, a comparison. It's like me trying to compare the hysterectomy I got okay, I'm gonna stop. Iran sooner or later would have developed a nuclear weapon. I don't know about that, Sweeney. I don't know about all that. Their leader that was killed said that they didn't believe in that, but I wouldn't believe in anything anybody said 100%, but I think that I know somewhere along the line somebody was like, "You don't deserve to because 'cause you're too extreme," and now look at us, we deserve to, but we're the ones wreaking the most havoc, probably in part because, yeah, of our giant military, but also because we have so much to threaten with. um, I think anybody should be able to have a nuclear weapon because of us and you know who trying to take over the world. The people that self-diagnose autism are weird AF, Barry said. Yeah, I don't wanna come off as that, but, like, I think most people would agree. I'm not typical. Like, you know, the autism apple didn't far fall from the autism tree, but at the same time, I don't feel the need to. I know I'm different. I was always the one sitting down looking at everybody else and like I mean it. I didn't socialize. I didn't talk to people. I had classmates for years that like I remember when I started talking and they were like, I didn't know what your voice sounded like. Several people said that to me because I didn't start talking until I was like 16 and I got my first job. Hey, Homer. Iran's been months away from developing nuclear weapons for 20 years now. Back in the day, it was WOM. Remember that they'd always be like weapons of mass destruction. I agree, and I'm gonna like the stream. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Angel. I really appreciate it. And everybody is welcome here, and you can tell me anything you feel about anything. I mean that. But what gets to me is being so dismissive of people's personal struggles, and I it was the kind of thread, this autistic guy's channel talking about the levels, like, where people were saying things to me, and I was, like, rereading and rereading and rereading. I'm like, "Where did I go wrong? Why did they say this?" This one lady said, "You have emotional problems," and I'm like, "What is going on?" I was being as nice as could be. I really was being sincere. I'm like, "Look, um, uh" I said like 3 paragraphs of nice stuff complimenting videos of his I liked before I got to I think it's like you're mocking the levels when you say this. And then I found somebody else who is on the spectrum themselves, diagnosed, it sounds like lifelong, who wrote the most beautiful, eloquent comment, was a perfect, greatest example, and I believe them, of level 3 autism and how you're not always intellectually disabled when you need a lot of support when it comes to social interactions, when it comes to self-care, when it comes to communication. Like, like back in the day, it was like those three things were like really, and it does change. And I do understand being skeptical about the DSM and the way that things change in it. I totally understand that. But I always wondered for years now, why don't autistic people advocate for other autistic people that are like more autistic than them? Now I get it because they don't want to be associated with that. Because like this guy was like, even the guy that first guy that was diagnosed with autism went on to become a lawyer, which I didn't know that. And that is a fact. I didn't know that. But like, doesn't it make sense that people focus on the severe end of any disease, anything that's a spectrum of like, it is a spectrum, it is. But it's also important to note that, like, people can be kind of all over the place on the spectrum at the same time. And I totally understand. I am the most empathetic person. I don't care if you were a DJ your entire 20s, if you tell me you struggle with all these things and it's always been a hard thing for you, and you like I know what it's like to have such bad anxiety. You feel like you're drowning in air half your life. No joke. That's why I feel so much for people because once you get out of that bad place and you realize like life can like for somebody to heal, you feel like you're on vacation. It's like every day is being on vacation from the turmoil. And some of it was physical too, like from having like bad physical issues and getting rid of a lot of that, healing from that and being healthier because of that, and then looking at it as a gift because, oh, thank you, Homer, dude. If it wasn't for all the bad things that happened to me, I wouldn't know everything that I know about health, which isn't like everything, but it is enough that I feel like I've benefited, and even a few people around me, maybe. That is a gift. Like God, sometimes like rejection is protection, like I'm sorry. It's just like these people, it's just jealousness, Nate. Sometimes, but like the stuff I'm talking about, I really don't think it's just people want to compete for who struggles more when it comes to autism in particular, in a way I've never seen like with anything else. My friend was just like you, and she couldn't, and you couldn't get her to stop talking when she did. It overstimulated me, but it was incredibly smart. She's a psychologist now, and a really good one. Oh, that's funny, Anna. That's cool. Yeah, in another life, I would have definitely been some kind of like professional, but I don't regret not going to school, or not finishing school. I did go to college. Ask ever increasing great questions. You'll always look like the most interesting person in the room. Yes, it's all that's a good that's a good piece of advice for people. Everybody can improve their conversational skills, excuse me. And I know it was one time online, somebody told me I remember the computer I was looking at and, like, the apartment I was sitting in and stuff, and somebody was like, "You just keep saying me, 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 listen to you." And I reread my comment, and I was like, "Oh, they're right." I was just, like, focusing on myself too much. Everybody always likes being asked about themselves, especially if you're trying to make new friends. That's, like, um, a good way to break the ice or a good quality to have to know how to ask people questions that I had to like learn. I should have been a CSI investigator or something, Anna said. I remember one time somebody like that came to our classroom and it was pretty hardcore. It was like eighth grade, maybe it was ninth. But yeah, I can't even watch a show because I know who did it in the first 10 minutes. Ugh, Anna said, yeah, somatic. I'm 39 later this month, somatic. I'm 38 right now. In case you didn't know. I turn 39 later this month, and I plan on having a birthday stream about it. Yeah, Barry, I hate burping. At least I don't I was trying not to drink beer, but I feel like drinking a beer. Okay, my dude, good for you. I'm sure it's happened before, and I'm sure it'll happen again. See what I mean? That was what Candace said on Piers Morgan. It was so great. She's like, we've all been what did she say? I forget her exact words. We've all been indoctrinated with the Holocaust to feel bad for them so they can go do the same thing. Um, looking good for 38. Lucky Kool-Aid said, "Oh, thank you, Caleb." Yes. But yeah, I was just like super stressed out because I was like getting all psyched up. And then I was talking to this guy, and he's like, basically, like, I was like, isn't the whole point of having a diagnosis so he can have an IEP walking through the door? And he's like, well, yeah, but it's like the state really, like, I don't know what would be the point of forcing a severely autistic child into a mainstream classroom. He's never taken a class, been in a classroom a day in his life on top of that. Um, even if he was kindergarten going first day, I wouldn't say a mainstream classroom was okay. And just the way he pushed for that is like, as a home educating mom, and I get it, you have to let your kids go at a certain time. My middle son is driving, okay? He just drove to school this whole last week. That's crazy, and it takes a lot out of me to not, like, try to keep him at home or, like, "Can I drive you to school a few days a week?" Just so I don't have that on my mind, but, like, you have to let them go and experience life and actually live it, you know? Bashir's a beautiful girl, thank God for beautiful girls. Oh, that's nice, Bashir. I do think that beauty and comedy are the universal, what can we call them? Stress relievers. If it wasn't for beautiful art and people, beautiful everything, scenery, nature, and comedy. And like somebody I follow, she is in Italy, and it was so cute. She like had this video, she's just like giggling with people she met there, like Italian people, I'm assuming, who knows. But like everybody likes to laugh. They want us to think we're so different. That's what they It's so funny. It's real, you have to laugh at it when you think about what a melting pot we are. And even in small town Kentucky, there's a lot more mix of people than you think there are. And and then they try to tell like how, oh, other people are so awful. It's like, no, that's what makes America so great. What has made us the as good as it ever was while it was good. And why people wanted to come here was because the mix of people made it so great. And turn around and act like that is a bad thing. Lazarus Incorporated. I'm married, but no, I never did. My husband's 5'7". And I dated guy I think I dated a few guys that were a few inches shorter than me. I'm 5'3". Oh, I used to be 5'4" when I was before I had babies. I swear I had a driver's license that said 5'4" on it. Um, but anyways, and that lady took my height at the DMV in Miami because I remember she was like, "You're not 5'4", and I was like, "Yes, I am," and she made me take my shoes off. But anyways, I think that height preferences are silly, but they are in reaction to women being so objectified and us being told we have to have a literal specific body type, which changes from decade to decade at that. You're supposed to have a morphing body type based on what the ideal beauty standards are for the time, you know? And because women have been so objectified and overly conditioned to think all that we have to offer are our looks. And I think the women that are like that, I'm not saying that it's like tit for tat. Well, maybe a little. I'm not saying that it's right. That's what I mean. But I think that it's in response to like this vain world where people aren't appreciated for their character at all, man or woman. And yeah, men are kind of like, and okay, I say that, but like it's this world that imposes standards, and a lot of women that do it to women. I think men are more forgiving than we give them credit for. Like, I think men love women and like our bodies and like all of our flaws that come with it and stuff more than we give them credit for. Like, we've been conditioned because the industries that make so much money from it to think that we have to be, like, so perfect, and the women that get all the I saw the shorts that was, like, beautiful actresses from the '80s, and then compared to, like, all the famous actresses now, it's such a shame. The women in the '80s, they were so beautiful, and they look different. And then all the women today, they all looked the same. They all looked exactly like Megan Fox looks now after all her plastic surgery. "Hi, Jorge, how are you?" "I can't drag a body with heels on," Anna said. "A mix of European people is what made it great, to be honest," Barry said. "Well, I don't know, Barry. It's kind of built off the backs of a lot of people from Africa, too. If it wasn't We were so great before industrialization because we had a thriving plantation, farming, agriculture economy." I didn't say that right. You know what I mean? And we wouldn't have had such a great success doing that. Not that everybody had slaves, but I wonder what the export would have been like compared if we didn't have slaves helping us, people. So there's that. And I do think the lines of what is white, what is I don't know, European people. We've always had a lot of Mexican people, they're our neighbors. I think they've have really helped too. Um, I think it's important to have certain quotas that need to be met. I do think that there should be standards, and it's nice when one of them is people speaking English. And I know that's one thing that a lot of people don't agree with, but I do think it's just safer. I've worked at places where people are screaming in Spanish on the radio, like, "Oh," and like nobody knows what's going on. And during times like that, I'm like, gosh, I wish these people had to speak English or at least enough, a little bit. You know what I mean? Oh, thank you, Cams. I hope you're doing well too. You like Chicago? I do like Chicago, Sweeney. I've only been there twice, but it was surprising how beautiful it was to me. And the people seem nice. I'm not hot. I just got verbal medicine skills, LOL, Keith said. Well, to the right person, that's what like love is. I think that the most beautiful people are the people that you don't get, like, taken aback by, you get, like, the more you get to know them, the more you like them. Caleb, well, as a guy, you have to be a provider, even though we want women making more money than ever, so we got it hard on that front. Yeah, Caleb, just as women get conditioned that our looks are what makes our worth, men are conditioned to think like they're what they make is their worth, and I think that's really sad and detrimental too. It should be a goal to be productive, but in this world where it's harder than ever to climb up the economic ladder, I really feel for men. And at least if you're a good looking woman, you're just that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't think you get an easier life unless you want to prostitute yourself out or whatever. But like, you get some kind of benefits from society for being that. Men have to prove themselves more and get, you know, make good money. And some of the men that work the hardest, like my husband, this is like he's 40 years old. He can't keep working 6 days a week doing what he does, like, he can't, and I can go make, um, decent money in a safe environment, not completely breaking down my body, you know? You can ask anything, Jorge. Where do I hide a Oh, Jorge, no, that's not funny. Especially with everything going on now, that is not funny at all. Sweeney, DMV employees here are awesome. Everything about small town Kentucky, I'm telling you guys. I know there is corruption. I'm not trying to say there's not. I've never, like, the cops are so nice. I got pulled over for not having my headlights on because I'm a dork. And I had like, I thought they were on, but they weren't. And I hardly ever drove at night before that. And they act like, oh, I'm sorry to bother you type thing. And like, the my son had a test. He got his intermediate license recently, and, like, when we walked in there, the people are so freaking nice. I'm like, "God, I love this town." Jesus loves you. Jesus showed me he is real. That's awesome, Panda. I wish Jesus tell him to show me next. Barry, I wish women loved each other as much as us men do. Aw, Barry, yeah. Yeah, I hate to say it, like, is it in women's nature, just like the competitive? It's exhausting. That's why I love when I click with another woman, and like I've noticed like younger women and women of any age, but now that I'm not in my 20s, it's like I never meet a woman that's young. There's like that competitive shit falls off, I think, and it's just nicer. Even women my age, okay. It's so annoying when women are like that. It's like they just wanna compete with each other for no good reason when the best some of the this sounds so cheesy. I think some of the purest love is in friendships. I do. And I think women love when they do, they love so fully because we're the ones that have to bring life to earth. And when they love each other, it's like the most loyal, best thing, and that's why I talk a lot about my friend who died when she was 34, and I'm like often like, I'm so glad I got to experience that kind of friendship where you, like, call each other every morning when you're drinking your coffee, and you go out on the weekends, and we were getting past that. Like, I remember one of the last times we went out, we had one of our friends' cousins with us, and, like, we were, like, pre-gaming at my apartment, and we were sitting in a circle, and my cat was, like, going from girl to girl, like, just being all sweet and cuddly, and then we were out, and then we just, like, weren't having a great time, and my friend's cousin goes, "We should all be at Lydia's apartment hanging out with her cat," and we all died laughing, we're like, "Yeah, let's go home and hang out with the cat. This sucks," and, but anyways, I'm glad I got to experience that in my 20s with a good group of girls, and yeah. So, she was like that, my friend. She was one of those people that everybody gravitated towards her. I'm not just everywhere we went I went a lot of places with her. She came and visited me when I lived in Florida. She had never been to the beach before, and it was like everywhere we went, people gravitated towards her, man. It was crazy, and she was a very pretty woman. I'm not saying like she wasn't pretty, but it was like I thought we were all pretty good looking, and then she would always be the one that people were like buying her drinks. It was like within 10 minutes of going into anywhere, somebody was buying her drinks. It was so fun. She had the cutest dimples. She just had like the sweetest smile, and I think people saw her and, like, she just made people feel good, you know? And, yeah, it's just sad, like, some of the sweetest souls. Another person that I knew that died when he was 16 and I was 15, it was the same way. It's just, like, the absolute sweetest people that are like angels on this earth, and then they you know, people are people, Sweeney said. Big city living has its upside and downside. Yes, Sweeney, that is very true. Eye contact and physical contact is difficult for me. Love on the spectrum is weird, Keith said. Oh, Keith, it's good that you know what is difficult. You know what I mean? A lot of people aren't self-aware enough to know. Gloom. It can be funny. I can be funny. I have about 100 fart jokes. I also have two dance moves, fast and slow. That's so funny, Gloom. I didn't like dancing until I got much older. Like when I went to all these concerts when I was younger, I remember one time this girl grabbed me and tried to dance with me at a Dave Matthews concert, and I was so, like, not into it, and then I look back at that, I'm like, "That is so funny." I would dance with her now. I've danced at bars, and I guess it was, that group of friends was the first friends I ever, like, danced with. Orion, nothing's stopping you from learning another language. Most people who want to know what others are saying will learn the language they are interested in. Americans who learn in that they only speak one. Yeah, I get that, Orion. I know we're spoiled dumbasses over here. We've been taught to not critically think. There's no reading comprehension anymore in school. Yeah, I get it. But the fact of the matter is, most people speak only English, and it throws a wrench in things when somebody doesn't know the language and you're trying to do something together. But you're right. I do know a lot of Spanish. I know quite a lot of Spanish, but I have trouble conjugating the verbs. But if I was to go to a place where most people spoke Spanish, I'd be able to manage. I'd have to tell them to slow down a lot. Our society isn't set up for multiple languages, Key said. You're a beautiful person, Gary said. Oh, thank you, Gary. Um, I got I got reported for anti-Semitism. Oh, bye, Barry. I hope you have a good night. Love you, Barry. Even though you don't agree with me a lot, I still love you. No, Lupe. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, which is as west as it gets, and right now I live in Central. I've never been farther east than I always forget London or Somerset. London. London is farther away than Somerset. My sister-in-law is from Louisville. Oh, that's cool, Keith. No, not Prestonburg, Lupe. That's way farther east than I've ever been. Sounds like a blessing. Sometimes I look back and relive the fact that I was happy once. Me. Oh, gloom. Sometimes I try to think like what is time really? You know, when you like try to make sense of like what could be if we do have multiple lives, like does it just go on forever? Or like I think that time is only a thing like in this life and like time is just not the same when it comes to like our actual energy that makes us or spirits or souls or whatever you call it. It's like uh so I try to think I'm glad, like, I get not depressed, but, like, I get sad kinda like, I had a big family growing up. We used to get together every holiday. It's not like that at all. Ever since my grandma on my mom's side died, I was the matriarch there for a few years. I don't think that's surprising. I was the one that got everybody together, tried to, and our house was so small, I literally couldn't invite all the family members that I wanted to for Thanksgiving and Christmas. But like on my husband's forklift driving salary, which I am not complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying we would pay to feed like a dozen people Christmas dinner and, um, have them over. And then it did start to feel, that's one reason we made the decision to move here. Everything in 2020. It was just like, you know what? What's the point in living near people that we literally see for a few hours a year? We're doing all the footwork. Like nobody ever like considers us otherwise. And anyways, we can see y'all once a year for a few hours, living 2 or 3 hours away, right? But I try to think about it like instead of like I wish we had that. Like, well, some people never had the never knew what it was like to go to grandma's house for dinner and have her cook 6 pies, and there's, like, dozens of people in every room you go in, there's, like, more tons of people, and your uncle's asleep snoring on the couch, like, well, everybody knows what that's like, and, I got to experience it, and it's like the kinda thing, like, when you lose a pet, like, as much as it sucks, like, having them in your life is worth having to lose them, right? Anyways, it took me turning to Jesus to learn what true love is, 1 Corinthians 13:4-7. Good night. Oh, Barry, that's so sweet. I love Corinthians. Hi, Caleb. How are you? I can't sing. I don't dance, but I shift emotional states like a Jedi master, though. That's cookie. Blessed be the dance, Greg said. Yeah, I think it's good, Bashir. Dirty dancing, not quite. I think it's good to move your body and especially the older we get, even if you think I'm on my feet a lot. I think a lot of us can do this. I'm on my feet all day. I'm active, but you're not getting your cardio up, and that's crucial. You can't burn fat if you don't have your cardio rate up. And we don't move. Like, I want to start doing Pilates. I don't know how, but this woman I follow that does pelvic floor therapy, she said the next best thing to like actual pelvic floor therapy is Pilates, actually. It's a lot about core strength. If you didn't know, Pilates was developed during like wartime for people that were like in bed from injuries to build their strength up. It like Pilates is associated with like really fit people. Actually, it was, like, made for people who couldn't move around that easily. When I found that out, I was like, "Oh, I need to try that." Okay, I do need to go soon because my phone is going to need charged. And, yeah, I'm gonna wait till I'm working for a few weeks to get a new phone, or, like, any day now, the septic guy is gonna call and tell me he's, like, gonna come over in a few days, and I'm, like, waiting to order any books or anything till that's fixed. I'm much smarter now, I don't have to think since I subscribe to ChatGTP to Edward. Oh, it's so sad. Okay, CSA Punch, if you don't know who she is and you're a millennial, she is so great. Her content usually centers around music. She makes the best shorts. She really does. She's so entertaining. But she had this video that was unlike most of her entertaining shorts. So she's talking about how do kids learn with a computer screen? And her kid needed help with something. And she's like, okay, what do you have? Like it was a test coming up. So where's the textbook or your notes or whatever? And then she like opens up it's on Google Classroom. And she's like, and when I looked at the screen, like I couldn't compute. But, pun intended, I guess. She was like, "It was, like, hard for me to, like, basically absorb the information, and, like, it's just weird. Something is weird is going on with their kids' education when they don't have books, they're writing down things. I still do that. When I need to learn something, I write it down several times. Like I forget what that's called. I know kinesthetic learning is when you have to physically do it yourself to learn to do it, but there's something about like writing stuff down. And a lot of kids like they don't get to do that as much, or they aren't doing that. That's like crazy to me. Hi, Borrow, if you're still in here. Baruch Cassette. People call me AI once a CIA spy once, Kate said. Frankfurt is the capital of Kentucky, Bashir. Yes. There is a famous joke that's how do you say the capital of Kentucky? Is it Louisville or Louisville? And the answer is Frankfurt. Why doesn't Santa Claus have kids? He only comes once a year. Oh, stop. But when you think about he comes everywhere once a year. Once a year is all you need, Bashir said. Mr. Rainmaker here. That's a good question. Oh, it's so funny. Who was it? Oh, it was I watch his content a lot. Jack Morgan. He made this in response. It was a compilation, like most talking about our men's testosterone getting lower. Yes, men's testosterone is getting lower. I have PCOS, so like my estrogen and testosterone is so fucked up. So don't men's testosterone is getting like 1% lower each year. It's pretty crazy. And that's not an insult to men. That is an insult to all the people that control what goes in and around our environment because that's whose fault it is. But yeah, if you can help, if you're a man and you can like anything think about anything that smells really good and that sticks. it's those chemicals, it's not often the fragrance as much as it's the whatever, I forget the name that makes the fragrance stick, like fabric softeners, perfumey things, like your Axe body spray and stuff, like, all of that is endocrine disrupting, it's so horrible for you, and there are alternatives that won't be. It's not like you have to walk around not smelling good. They make good cologne. My husband got me this perfume, it smells so good, and it's, like, some brand from Walmart that's supposed to be, like, healthier, you know? Um, okay, now my charger isn't working. Thank you, Scott. As a neuro wizard, I find mental time more adjustable. A healthy energy flows both ways, doesn't it? My late grandma lives 600 miles away. Oh, okay. So did you not see her a lot? Nobody puts baby in the corner. Okay. I run 5 miles a day. I'm still fat, Bashir said. Are you being sincere about that? Running makes you fatter. No, Bashir. I mean, some people's body constitution, they might be able to run 5 miles a day and still be fat. You know what I mean? But if they did that, they'd have a lot of muscle under their fat. I think about running every day, Greg said. Me too. I'm like, I need to strengthen my core. I have like an athletic son, and I'm like, he would be sweet if I was like, can I run with you? But like, I kind of don't want to put him through that either. But he goes to the gym some, anyways. Like, I want to get one of those little things that like go on the floor, the Pilates things, and you can like yes, Glam well, Glam, I go in tomorrow hold on, Monday, I have, like, the drug test, but I'm gonna pass it, but, and like I said, it's, like, THC friendly, that would be the only thing if I wasn't gonna pass it, mm, 'cause I don't test for kratom on these drug panels, even though, kratom is legal in Kentucky, but yeah, if they tested for that, I might be screwed, but I do need to, like unfortunately, and I'm not proud of this, but I was like, I ordered kratom gummies once the last time I worked at this place because it's the kind of place I'm gonna have to work my breaks out accordingly. And basically, kratom gummies are the nastiest tasting thing in the world, but I'm probably gonna have to order some. But it's also going to help me probably take less. It's my first shift job I've ever had in my life. I've always worked second or third shift. Keep the faith no matter what, Sweeney said. Hi, Lewis. How are you? You look like you sell great smelling candles, Bryson said. That's a that's a compliment, right? That's a compliment. David, running makeup can cause you to overeat. That's a weird comment. Happy International Women's Day. Is that really? Is it really for I didn't know that. Pilates good. I always do sit-ups and leg lifts. Yeah, lucky Kool-Aid. So like and it's like depending on like what you have to trigger, like I have pretty bad love handles. I have like hip dips. Like I know a lot of people do. But it's so dumb. I'm like, for years I didn't like my hip dips. And it's like it's just natural. And now um but I mean, if I had, like, oodles of money, I probably would have had fat transfer. I'm not gonna lie. I would go through it without the anesthesia. I think I could do it, but I don't sit around and think about that. And, like, there's so many things I would do before I did that now, oh my gosh. And now with the way things are, I wouldn't wanna go somewhere and do that. Going back to work. Yes, Homer, dude, I got a full-time job I'm starting in, 4 tens, like 4 10-hour shifts in a warehouse. Hi, Felix, how are you? Moseying on by to say, "Oh, aloha. Hey, Moonshiner. I wish you luck with the new job." Thank you, Moonshiner. Bashir, your husband is one lucky dude. Praise the Lord Jesus Christ. Oh, that's nice, Bashir. Was the gummy any good? Did it work? Yeah, Lucky Kool-Aid. It was Tusk Kratom. Don't get lipo. I heard it's dangerous and it can be painful. Yeah, I wouldn't. That was kind of silly for me to say. I really wouldn't now that I know what I know about scar tissue. Not trying to freak anybody out, but I personally wouldn't get any procedure that wasn't medically necessary. Now, I went to an ENT for my ears, and he tapped on the bump of my nose and he said, I got poked so bad by a rose thorn. It hurt so bad. He said, you have a deviated septum. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It doesn't bother me. I'm like used to it at this point, and it's not like I can't breathe, but yeah, but he's like, I can fix that for an extra $2,000. And I'm like, um, yeah, that was my first trip to an ENT. But what I've been through, the few surgeries I've had, I wouldn't sign up for anything unless it was medically necessary, and I think people don't realize a lot about scar tissue. I have 5 incisions on my stomach from my hysterectomy, and I'm not complaining about it, it's just a fact. There have definitely been times where I'm like, "Oh, I, like, feel it pulling and stuff." It's not horrifically painful, but it's like anytime you cut into the body and that liposuction thing is so hardcore. It's like, I'm just saying, I think I'd be fine with, like, doing something like that awake. If I ever got my eye fixed, I would do that awake, like an upper bleph I mean, they're not today, they're not as some days it's worse, but anyways, but yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't really answer the question. The Tusk Kratom gummies are effective. Tusk has good products, but it's the kind of thing if you take Kratom every day, you usually end up getting like what we do. You get like the powder in bulk because getting stuff like the extracts and the gummies is not economically sustainable. And the extracts are too strong. Oh my gosh, the strongest I ever had, I think it was Train Wreck, whatever is the mix that Tusk Kratom has. It it knocked me off my butt. Oh, professional owner sent a floating heart. Thank you. I'm sorry that I missed that. Don't get lipo. I heard it's dangerous. I read that. Um, Lydia, as you enjoy reading these words, realize how each breath amplifies your mind's abilities to trigger your fullest vitality and youthfulness more and more every healing breath. Yes and yes. Well, you guys, I just wrote you a prescription for 1 pound of bacon. Take with an egg sandwich twice a day, once every 12 hours. Burp. Oh my gosh, I used to love bacon so much, but I've decided not to. Okay, I did buy pepperoni that was on sale. I've decided not to eat pork though. I was just telling my husband like a week ago. I was like, I feel like there's a reason why. Am I unmuted now? I'm so sorry, guys. I just muted myself. I'm not muted, and I'm like a slash. Lowering inflammation, reduction of stress is a beautiful way to restore. Yes, and that's why I didn't want to. Even though I know I talk about stressful stuff sometimes, like I can't get on here when I'm in a certain mood. Sorry, Greg. Because I don't want to just stress other people out. Thank you, ceramic. I don't want to add to, I know what other people are already feeling, but I also know like it can be a relief to hear somebody else say, what the fuck, whenever this kind of stuff is happening, like so much is happening all at once. We still haven't forgotten about the Epstein files and the fact that the 1 or 2% of things that we've had released are just so horrible. And explain, there's one email where he is like getting on to this guy. He said, I sent this girl, like one of his girls. Oh, it's so sick. I sent her to so and so because you told me to. And then she told her to she had to focus on nothing but acting. It's not good. Like he's basically saying, I sent this girl to go be mentored by this woman you referred her to. And now she's trying to like get her mind on other things other than being my sex slave. That's in my opinion what was insinuated. It is so crazy to really think about. Um, then the answer to that was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry." She's a top child agent, like talent agent. Child. He used the word child. And it's like, it's just so sick. If people aren't the actual pedophiles themselves, they're complicit with it. And anybody that's still like the person earlier that said that they reported me for anti-Semitism, anybody that is realistically, I'm pretty confident. If you didn't notice, that's why I just said Israel in the stream. I've seen enough people just say it. I'm like, I'm not gonna say no, no country every time. Like, if enough of us say what we want, it does seem like, things change from time to time with whatever is acceptable in the terms of service. But Sarah Holcomb I can't recommend her channel enough. Every single one of her videos are great, and they're the kind of thing I barely ever watch videos twice in a row because there's so much information within like 10 minutes that I have to watch it again. And it's like, she really is amazing. She did a great job explaining some. I've learned a lot about the history in the Middle East from her channel. Anti-Semitism, Greg, it's like when you hate Jewish people, being against Jewish people and the Jewish faith, which uh that's how they've gotten away with the genocide that they've committed for years now. Like, and it's like trying to hide under that if you say anything bad about them, and enough of us are waking up, uh I polls are polls, but according to polls, it really is like 50% of people don't approve of everything going on. And probably much less than that. Millstone, shall we? I know, Keith, I wish. I was going to ask if you knew sign language, David said. I learned the alphabet. I don't remember it, but I did learn the alphabet and a few things in girls' club. But yeah, I think that it's great when people do know multiple languages. I do. But for a long time, there was some prerequisites for the most part, and there's different visas. But a lot of people that immigrated here, they had to have like a profession, a trade or something, and then speak English. But anyways, and I understand like people that can't become verbal, like complete fluent in the language. You can learn a little bit of, you know what I mean? I was it's just it it comes off. Okay, I should probably just go. It's like borderline disrespectful to the people that are already there with everything set up in English to have to like dance around the fact that there's school systems where 50% of the children that go there don't speak English, and it's difficult for them, for the educators, for all the other kids. And the answer isn't, well, those kids that know English only should speak Spanish too. Why isn't the answer the people that moved here that speak only another language learn more English? And why don't we make it a priority to help them do that? It's like that in other countries. Granted, I know there's not like so many people immigrating there most likely, but in a lot of places they have like language school, and you have to commit to that. And I do respect people that move to completely different places, man. Even if they don't learn the language, I still maintain a certain amount of respect for them. I'm just going to be voice my opinion on what I feel about having to click English at my ATM. In a Kentucky count. I'm sorry, a Kentucky town with like 15,000 people, and then it's like, you want English? It happened to something I called earlier. It was like press one for English, press two for Spanish. I know that could just be logistics. It's like, why do I have to press one for English though? Why can't it just be press one for Spanish? Anyways, and everybody, hi Randy. Anybody, thanks Randy. Anybody that's like ever rented, like how there's like so many disclosures, it's like anti-discrimination, anti-discrimination, anti-discrimination. Well, there's been so many times I felt discriminated against, but it doesn't count, right? It's like my half Colombian dad got hired at a university and they like rescinded the offer when they saw that he wasn't tan. And he said, what do they want me to do? Put on a sombrero? I'm sorry, I always thought that was so funny. Oh my god. Um, yeah, has anybody else heard any details about Ecuador, how we're helping Ecuador bomb itself because of cocaine traffickers? Okay. Anybody that seriously doesn't understand that the biggest drug traffickers are the people that are controlling everything. They absolutely are. They have their hands in it. What is I should know the family, the Purdue medicine family, that family that created the opiate epidemic, this opiate epidemic. They know what they're doing. They created opiate epidemics. Other countries created opiate epidemics like Britain. Wasn't it? Was it Britain and China or China to Britain? The point is people know that this shit is highly addictive and might even help to slightly destabilize a certain society that they want to, and then they make sure that it infiltrates their society in droves, and like it wasn't just like oops, oh, opiates are addictive, like It's really crazy. And, thank you, Joe. Joe Fells, a YouTuber. Gloom, do you know Joe Fells? And have you seen how he has these Bibles from the 1800s? Limited characters, limited explanation, Gloom said. I used to be on hydrocodone and gabapentin and monthly spine shots. I use anchoring to get off them. Oh, I'm so sorry, Keith. That sounds like you probably go through a lot if you got all that. Well, I'm not going to say the name of my kids, Texas, but I do have 3 kids. But yeah, I I think that people that spend enough time with me that are meant to understand that I have love for everybody. I don't hold it against people who immigrated here because they could in the last few years. Even if they weren't technically really seeking asylum, and to seek asylum, you technically have to go you should go to the nearest country, and a lot of these people are going like several countries away to come into ours. Like, I don't blame them. I might have been them in another lifetime. I might have chosen the same choice to try to have a better life, But I don't look at it like that. I look at it as like they're trying to make us all fight. They're trying to make it all like somebody earlier, it's always the same shit. Feminism, immigrants, feminism. And I don't want to sound like I'm playing into that, like it's all their fault thing. It's not. But it is affecting me and it has, you know what I mean? And I know that's very petty. From London, England, Eric said, "Oh, how are you doing, Eric? How is London?" I've heard mixed things about London. Some people say that it's like not the same, and other people seem to not feel like that. We're talking about immigration. I think you just came in here. Jesus rose up from the dead. Elevator has guide rail. That's so funny. Sarah Holcomb, she just says she does the greatest. She's a comedian. She does stand-up comedy, but she's also a true independent journalist. Like she was a legit, like, I'm pretty sure she has a degree in this. She worked in Washington, D.C. as a journalist, and now she's an independent journalist. And so I just love her content because it's like it's factual, but it's comedic relief at the same time. Um, she was just talking about how, like, it's just funny how the Christians that support Israel support them so staunchly because they think, or some of them, I know not every, I can't speak for everybody, but when she was like, about the how, like, the Jewish people don't believe in Jesus as God, and like the Christians think that when Jesus comes back the second time, the Israel people, I'm sorry, they're gonna be like, "Oh, yeah, he is legit, even though it didn't work the first time." I just thought that was so funny. And I am getting that book as soon as my septic is fixed. I am getting the Book of Enoch. That is like, I just feel I can't read anything else. I keep thinking about it. I know that's stupid, but that's how my brain works. I'm like, I have this Jungian psychology book that I still want to read. Gabapentin is super hard. I'm down to 400 milligrams from 2,400 milligrams daily. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, honey. Whatever you're taking it for. Anybody that has to deal with anything chronic, my heart is with you. I know what that's like. Um, yeah, there's so much going on in this world, and it's like people deserve to just be able to focus on their lives and try to make their lives better. And your children's lives. Do you think alcohol and cocaine is normal in your opinion? No, Jorge. I'm a pretty open-minded person, but like cocaine is a very harsh drug. I wouldn't recommend that for anybody. And I understand it used to be used more medicinally, and I think maybe in a tincture, like the cocoa leaf in a tincture or something might be like less harmful. But yeah, cocaine is scary. But anyways, it is pretty sad that alcohol is like such a poison and it's so prevalent, but withdrawals are pretty bad, and so is the the need it feeling. For gabapentin, the need it feeling. Oh, that's I see with like kratom, it's like I've been psychologically addicted to stuff, of course, where it was like hard for me psychologically, but kratom was the only thing that was like physical. Oh my gosh, it was. And I'm like, I'm never gonna do this again, and look, and then I did. Yeah, I do have a lot of hair. It's a crooked world, Homer said. It's not so much the help we give them, it's above and beyond. It's their beliefs that should not practice. You're talking about in London, right? Yes, you're the London. Um, so are you talking about like Sharia law? I'm not certain what beliefs you're talking about, but it is crazy when I've seen certain documentaries on like the health system there, and it's undeniable the strains that are put on a country when you learn certain things about the healthcare system. I'm just gonna say that, and I'm not saying people I do think that healthcare is a human right, and I'm glad that people get it, but it's just sad to me. I love the Anunnaki story on the Wi-Fi, Greg said. I need to look that up. It's because the Zio Christians are cucks and like being cucks for Israel, Stockholm Syndrome. Yes, Fendi. Yeah. First Book of Enoch, there are three versions, but it's free on YouTube and audio. Okay, Gloom. Casimiro mushrooms and LSD are going to be used for depression and anxiety. Yes, Casimiro. Casimiro. I think that that's awesome. Um, Microdosing, definitely. Like, I don't think I'd ever wanna take, like, an actual dose of mushrooms that would be enough to make somebody trip. I had a bad trip once, and, like, just microdoses can make me feel anxious, but I'm not saying they're bad for everybody. "Thank you for your opinion. I'm struggling with these substances," Jorge said. "Sally, I don't know how I will definitely be normal again." Oh, Jorge, don't try to look at it as being normal again. Look at it as reaching the optimum health. That's how I look at it, you know? Your optimum health today might be different than it was like a year ago. It might not be the same, might not be possible, but you shouldn't look backwards. You should only look forwards. Feel as good as you can. And hey, that might be better than you felt before, whatever you're considering normal as your baseline, you know? I think as long as there's air in your lungs and your blood's beating through your heart, you can do and heal from almost anything. What were the side effects of kratom? Stopping taking it, ceramic. Kratom can make you feel like nauseous and dizzy if you take too much. It can like make you feel like I take enough to like help with pain, but I don't really feel a buzz from it. But when you stop taking it, it is like everything. Sweats, diarrhea. Oh, it was horrible. I was like running to the bathroom at my job because I had to taper off for my surgery because I don't want to freak anybody out, but like supposedly it can mess with the drugs that they use in anesthesia. And there's plenty of case reports where people had emergency surgery. They had taken a shit ton of kratom for a long time up until then. They were fine. But that really freaked me out, and I didn't wanna tell them this is how fucked up the medical system is. I didn't wanna tell them about my kratom use because I was afraid they wouldn't give me any pain meds. And I really needed the pain meds because I have weird veins. She had trouble closing up my incisions. I got a skin infection. Like half of my stomach was if you've never had cellulitis before, that's a skin infection. There's some of the most pain I've ever been in. I've had a lot of shit go. I've had a hole in my sinus just like reopen. That was extremely painful. Lots of dental issues, really painful. I've given birth naturally to an 8-pound baby. I'd rather go through that than this for, like, days. I had to take core antibiotics, anyways, I was very grateful, and that's one reason I grabbed the kratom when my 2 weeks of pain medicine ran out, but, and then that makes you then you have to take, like, stool softeners. I just took a lot of magnesium, but anyways, control 2 substance. Just take your antipsychotic meds for prevention. Suboxone is a hell of a drug to come off of. Um There is I don't know, I haven't taken it, but there's this DMLP, some kind of I have a supplement that's supposed to really help that, and magnesium glycinate is supposed to help when you're stopping kratom. So that's thank you, Liquid Skittle, for saying Jesus Christ loves you. I just try to, like, give myself grace, like, I don't want to take this every day the rest of my life. I do wanna quit at some point. I'm like Suboxone is another bad one. Side effects alone, Gloom said. My uncle has cellulitis, ceramics. Yeah, that is so painful. I hope he can get rid of it. I know it's something a lot of people that have like diabetes, like lower immune systems struggle with. Like they might like bump their toe and get oh, it was so pain if you've ever had a tattoo, it was like getting a tattoo on my stomach, like, I could just lay there and it hurt, but whenever I moved, it was like moving with tattoo needles on your stomach, it was so painful, if you don't know what that's like, the worst sunburn you've ever had times 10, like the burning pain of a sunburn, but unrelentless. Anyways, got past that, but I have 3 hernias, and I would think it would be nice to maybe get my hernias repaired one day, but because of her trouble with my weird veins, apparently I have more veins than normal people, and they're small. They're numerous and small, and therefore hard to I am not surprised. Oh, hey, Michael, how are you doing? Thank you, Michael. I quit taking 16 milligrams cold turkey with wax, been completely off chemical ever since. Good for you, Jacob. Cold turkey is rough, and you know, not healthy for everybody, but good for you for doing that. I don't want to like insinuate that people should do cold turkey, but that I'm California sober. Is that when you smoke weed? Recovering addict 3 years now. Well, good for you, Jacob. Stay positive. Do you have a channel? The worst pain for a dude, I think, was kidney stones. Oh my God, I've heard that, Casemiro. I know, oh, my brother goes through that. And I had an uncle who passed out from the pain. I've heard that is as bad as it gets, it sounds like. Ugh. But yeah, um, the way I try to look at it and like having, we had the flu in our house and like when you see your kid, that's the worst feeling as a parent, seeing your kid and just like looking at them and knowing they feel horrible and like you can only do what you can do, and you can't like take it from them. It's such a bad feeling. I lost my train of thought. The worst pain, it's like labor pain. Yeah, Casemiro. Oh, and now I remember, Jacob, I have a channel for felons. I just got home in December. Oh, cool, Jacob. I can't go to your channel from here. I'll like get booted off my live. But I'm gonna try to go find you. What's the name of your channel, Jacob? Your handle says Jacob Stay Positive, but is that the name of your channel? I really do try to like. Okay, so yeah, I gave birth naturally at home on purpose and did hypno babies, and it really did help me look at like we have to have pain. Like we have to have bad days, we have to have sick days, or else the good wouldn't be as good. And okay, that is it. I'll look at if you do a dare, I'll donate $10. No, thanks, Kai. Unless the dare is like, no, I don't know. Somebody was trying to get me to put my hair up in a bun, and I'm like, thank you, Jacob. Okay, thank you for saying you'll comment on my shorts because I was going to ask you to comment something, and I didn't do that because I'm not trying to be mean to anybody that never did it. But like every time I say that, they never do. And I was like, can you please comment on something? Because if you comment, I will go to your channel. I get my channel's so small. I read all my comments, and if for some reason I don't reply to you, and you're not being a troll, thank you, Jacob. I have missed your comment, and sometimes it shows up. One from Anna took like 4 days to show up. I'm like, "What?" It was like, it's so funny to me because I interact with her a lot. There's no reason why one of her comments shouldn't pop up in my notifications, you know what I mean? And it did pop up in my notifications, but it was like 4 days after the fact. But anyways, I do answer all my comments who are serious. Lydia, Greg. My name is Lydia, but everybody and their brother calls me Linda. That is so funny you said Linda. Everybody. The schools I called this week, I'm like, Lydia, no, no, no. And then they call me back. They're like, Linda? I'm like, I said Lydia in the voicemail, but everybody hears Linda. I'm not exaggerating. Every teacher I ever had, every substitute teacher of every teacher I ever had, every new boss, when I go for orientation here with my new job, they're gonna call me Linda. They always do. It's funny. Which is, and my name is Ly, and I know Linda can be spelled Ly too, but yeah, that's funny to me. Jacob, thank you for sending the floating heart and the flower. I saw them both. But yeah, I think that people who go through stuff and come out the other side like that and then talk about it, like that's what I wanted to do with my channel. And sometimes it's just like people are still struggling so much. Like I don't want to tell you guys, we were like 2 months behind on our mortgage, which isn't good. 3 months is like foreclosure territory. I don't want to come off as like dry begging or I'm trying to get money from people because I'm not. Because I look at it like if you're going to give me money, you're going to give me money. You're going to want to, you're going to do it if you can and you want to. I'm not going to ask people to give me their money, but I might on my birthday. I'm just saying. But like we got our tax return and we're fine. But it's just oh my gosh. I want to show you guys with my garden what can be possible. Linda equals lovely in Spanish. Oh yes, I do know that, Casimiro, because my Colombian grandma would always call me Linda, Linda. You doing well reading people's comments feels like you talking fast, but probably because I'm a London cockney. Yes, Eric. I have a friend. Yes, we already talked about my eye. Jesus Christ. I had a friend that was from, I don't know exactly where. Oh, gosh, now I'm mad. I don't remember where in Great Britain, but he was one of my favorite work friends ever. Hi, Ruby. How are you doing? Bees and honey, Greg said. No, I'm not AI user. Um, I'm not AI user. Gosh, I can never remember this joke. Um, the guy that makes the funny Tinder videos. Okay, I'm like totally forgetting everything I want to say is on the tip of my tongue. Last year, I can claim my son this year. LOL, fool, 17 years old, Casimir. Yeah, we have a 19-year-old, so I know what you mean by that, Casimiro. But we have two others. Isn't that crazy? I have a 19-year-old. Yes, ceramic. I finally started seeds today. I've been wanting to start my seeds. It's like a big thing. I couldn't find the chains that my grow lights hang on, and like it's like a million other things I could use, right? But I was like insistent on finding the actual chains. But anyways, I'm just gonna rig it up with something else I found. But I'm gonna have the biggest garden I've had in like 6 years, and I want to make my content center it. We're still gonna talk about other things going on in the world, but um, yeah, I think that everybody's gonna enjoy it, whether or not you garden, it's gonna be good. I have a good feeling that then I'm going to get to the point and I'm gonna be, working in the warehouse, coming home, doing the garden stuff, and everything's gonna work out to the point where I'm not working in that warehouse for like 5 years. $500 and it's a wrap, Casimir said. Eat a garden. AI is getting pretty good. Would I have I don't even d I don't know, if I saw me, I don't know if I'm not just I don't know if I'd call that a lazy eye. Like, my eyes have some asymmetry, but I wouldn't call it a lazy eye. I think people are just trying to, like, get under my skin when they say that, but, would AI have a lazy eye? Eat a garden salad in front of chat. Ceramic, one thing I wanna do is have, like, a cooking show where it's like there is something to eating food, like, as soon as you can. Like, when peas are so good, I think a lot of people love peas so much because it's one of the things that's, like, easiest to eat right off the plant, or, like, you can eat it soon, you can eat the shoots, you can eat the pods, you can eat the peas from the pods, you can eat the little tendrils that grow, and, like, you want to prune your pea plants, or you might not, but sometimes you do. It is edible, like, after, like, a month, there's stuff you can start eating off, because it's, like, growing so much, just little tendrils and stuff. But anyways, there's something that's really good for you energetically, something a lot of people are missing when they don't have access to that. And I do feel bad for people that genuinely can't help that they don't have access to that. But the whole point is, I would like to like help more people have access to that possibly. And everything that I was going through this week, I don't know, I was just thinking like I would love to have a goal of helping people who are on the spectrum in some kind of like residential way. There's so many halfway houses for people who are like sober houses, and a lot of it's court ordered, some of it's not. And I just think there has to be something for people that want to start like residential living for people. Like that. And if we could get there is a few places I know that are like out in the country, but I mean like you are on acres that is a farm that the people that live there can choose to work at the farm or not. There's some rose farm that employs nothing but autistic people in North Carolina, I believe, and I think they live on the premises. And it's like, um, that would be nice. That would make me feel better about this horrible world. Nobody talks about the autistic people that need help. You know what I mean? I know that sounds dramatic, but they don't talk about it enough. It's not talked about enough. And everything everybody focuses on. But I guess, autistic people can't be used for the divide and conquer, even though, like I said, the actual autism support groups, the people in the autism groups are so divisive sometimes. They're just so like, um, oh my gosh, I can't. And the way they treat you have no idea if I've been diagnosed with anything or not, and you just like assume all these things about me because, anyways, that's something that I feel really strongly about. It's like I know not everybody's gonna feel the same way about me, but oh my gosh, ceramic. I'm growing so many. I'm growing tons of tomatoes and peppers, Michael Kos, and lots of herbs. The stuff that I'm starting inside is mostly because I want to make sure I have them. The only stuff I'm starting because I really have to start inside is eggplant, or not eggplant. I am doing eggplant. Um, Eucalyptus, loofah gourd, moringa. Those are things I'm pretty sure with the longest growing seasons. I'm growing King of Bitters. That was just given to me as a gift and some from Thrive, or I'm sorry. Now I can't remember the name, rareseeds.com. And but I don't think I'm going to start those seeds. But I usually just start things that are really long growing season inside, but now I'm like, oh, my cat was really he's, like, digging in the beds I was weeding, and that really annoyed me, like, really, like, messing up the beds. I'm like, "Great, now I have to deal with this," everywhere I sow seeds, I have to worry about him doing that. But anyways, we'll figure it out. I have little tiny, like, greenhouses I can stake in the ground. It's just like, it's a lot. But I'm not complaining. People need to eat more micronutrients. People need more organic fruits and vegetables. Yes, I love that comment, Ross. I got 3 saucepan lids, 2 girls, 1 boy, 23, 22, 20. So it's good for you doing something you enjoy. I had a channel many years ago was to make people laugh and giggle and not take everything serious. That's nice, Eric. Yeah, I think people need to eat local and season strawberries are 50% off at Publix. Ross said, yes, I agree with that. In season, that's so huge. Think about for how long did we eat? And I know, like, corn has been a staple in a lot of South American cultures for millennia, and they probably did eat it all year round, really. But most things we don't eat all year round, right? Other than grains, and even then, we eat so much grains. Hi, Princess, how are you? Thank you for reminding us about daylight savings, ceramic. Um, what was I just gonna say about the guy I bring up a lot because I do have a low-key fascination. Um, that's nice to know. That's funny because I do burn incense every day. Oh, I thought hold on. I thought I did not mean to I meant to delete. Sorry, ceramic. I hid you when I meant to hide Nunya for asking about my bush. Hi, Scott. How are you doing? Strawberries are at peak season right now in cauliflower. Oh, that's cool, Ross. I didn't know that. That's so funny. I did just buy strawberries yesterday. Tabasco peppers. I grew one BMBS 1 year. It destroyed all my hot pepper friends. Put them on their knees. Oh, that's cool. I love peppers, Michael. I like to grow a bunch of different kinds. I think the hottest I've ever grown yet was like Thai chili peppers. But I have this one that's like really high up on is it Scoville index? I'm glad you're doing great, Scott. But yeah, there's Severage, the guy that I talk about a lot, that, like, promotes eating raw meat, and it's really funny because he says, like, "We're all, like, slaves to the system, and slaves eat grains, and they feed us grains because slaves eat grains," and he's such a trip, and, like, I a lot of the shit he says, I'm not completely disagreeing with, but it's like his presentation, the way he goes about it, the way he talks about how, like, we're meant to eat raw animals, but he gets them from the grocery store in, like, the styrofoam container, it's like, um, anyways, I've never had a chili pepper, Greg said. That's crazy. Hello, give your doggy a hug and a treat for me. Oh, boxing, okay. I love hugging them. It's so cool having big dogs and you hug their big chests and it's like hugging a person. Layla's the sweetest. Rocco's sweet too, but he's like overwhelming. Like I go to hug him, I end up falling over because he's got to move weird or something. Layla will just sit there and let me hug her. I prefer to eat vegetarian. That's cool, Ross. I definitely eat plant-based some days, but I've got to have my dairy and meat, like protein from meat, or I can't. But I really like right now. I really like pistachios, and I wanna make a shorts on pistachios because, like cast-out soap, I feel like a lot of people on a lower income like us, they, like, shy away from it. They're like, "I'm not gonna spend $12 on a bag of pistachios," but that bag of pistachios will be a good, healthy source of protein, a good snack for you for, like, 2 weeks, for 1 person, and, it does, but I understand not having the money in your grocery budget to get $12 of pistachios. I do get that. But like I said, tax season, and we got our tax return and got like 4 bags of them because I love them and they're so good to have on hand. And I've been trying now I might be wrong about this, but, like, the malto meal like, we do eat cheap stuff. The malto meal cereal, I don't we don't always have cereal, and we, like, use it as a treat when we do, but, like, I got some malto meal because it didn't say contains a bioengineered ingredient. Like, some of it does, but the ones I got didn't. Raisin Bran and the Cocoa Krispies, it does have caramel flavor or coloring in the Cocoa Krispies, but it's pretty decent ingredients overall, for cheap cereal, you know what I mean? Hi, this is Luke from Medora, Indiana. Will you be my girlfriend? Oh, Luke, I have a husband, so no. But Medora is nice. I know where Medora is. I grow hot peppers and everyone makes fun of me. Oh, why boxing? Why? Do you grow like a ton of them? Because I know a lot of people that grow peppers grow like too many of them. I'm like that. I grow too many summer squash too. It's like every year I tell myself you only need a few. Um, Japanese eat fish moving on their plate. Oh, Michael, that stuff freaks me out. What's the name for that? People eat that I've seen stuff like that online and it's so disturbing. Seeing like girls eat like live octopus or the tentacles stick into their face. Like, I'm sorry, I'm like creeping myself out. I need to stop. Thank you, Husnid. I'm sorry, I'm probably not saying your name right. Hi, Mr. Goat. How are you? Pistachios have a tough time breaking down in the digestive system, and it has caused rectal tears for me. Ruby, Ramona, are you eating the shells? I do. I'm missing 2 molars, so, like, I chew forever, like, everything, but whenever I chew I've learned, like, chewing and my hernias can affect digestion, it's, like, a whole other thing, but I chew everything as good as possible. That's one of the best if you have digestive anything going on, you really should consider chewing your food better, especially if you're missing teeth, you might not realize how much you miss 1 or 2 molars and or more, you have trouble chewing your food up as good as you should, maybe you should try a raw cheesecake. It uses cashews. Oh, Bloodworth. That's so funny. I've made stuff like that before. I'm pretty sure I made a mayonnaise before that had cashew. Like I used to make everything from even my chapstick, my deodorant. Um, I made like all for a while. My kids were on a super strict diet, and I would like to get back to that point, but not in a, like an obsessive way. That was in a healing way, you know. And the whole point of elimination diets is to introduce everything slowly or, not to eat like that forever. If you make sandwich videos, they will come. Gloom said. That is so funny. Ross, I used to be 100% vegan, but now I eat steak once or twice a week, but I still eat vegetarian by habit because I was vegan for 7 years. That sounds like a healthy mix, Ross. Um, I bring her up a lot. Vegan deterioration, like, yeah, everybody ages. And I don't want to be one of those people that's like ageist, but her channel is really interesting. People it just doesn't seem to be the healthiest for everybody, but it might be for some people. I've done crazy videos dressing up in different outfits and pretend I'm a superstar DJ. Got copyright warning a couple times, but when the artist or group would watch, they give me thumbs up and laughs. That's so funny, Eric. Oatmeal, king of breakfast. Yeah, we have a lot of oatmeal, Michael. Um, but I'm trying to eat as clean as possible in that Quaker oats. I know we don't have to buy Quaker oats, but that's what we buy, or like the store brand. It's not good. It's probably full of glyphosate. Oh, thank you, Kevin. It's so funny how many people tell me my eyes are pretty and then how many people say I have a lazy eye, but thank you. I always grow extra peppers, mostly dry them out though and save them. Yes, Kevin. What? Okay. Somebody's so it's just bell peppers they make paprika from, right? So what do they make? Is it like smoked bell peppers that make smoked paprika? I guess I just answered my own question. Um, no, I don't eat shells, Ruby said. Ruby, but I realize everybody is different. I can't tolerate chia seeds. Yeah, I agree, Ruby. Chia seeds, I tried a few times, but it's been a while since I tried, so maybe I could now, because everybody is so different, right? Mr. Money eating the shells. I know that was probably not what she was going to be like. Yeah, I eat the shells, but I was like, gosh, that sounds horrible. But yeah, you're right, Ruby. Like chia seeds tear me up. It's like too much fiber. Never been through anything like that. Because I'm 6'2", 185 pounds and box, but I have a garden. My wife and her friends always laugh when I'm in my garden. Oh, that's so cool, boxing fans. That's cool. My Swiss grandpa, he was I thought I had his picture. Why did I think I had it? Because I did. He was really tall. He was like the shortest person in his family, and he was like 6'4", I think. His sister was like 6.5 feet tall. From Switzerland. by Germany, German Swiss, and he was a gardener. And he was like a big he kinda sounded like Sean Connery, his accent I can't do accents, but he had a really cool accent, I just liked hearing him talk, and he just sounded like he could be like James Bond or something. He started a fledgling bird show, like, before his bird show, the only birds that were judged were, like, 2 years and older, and he started the bird show for, like, birds under I just think that's so precious that my grandpa did that. He started something to do with roses and judging them, and I should know this. This is, like, stuff that still happens in Louisville. My grandpa was awesome. Um, well, John, if I'm obnoxious as fuck, I don't know why you're still here. I'm on my knee today and it still hurts hours later. Should I be concerned? Ceramic. I'm just joking. Arnica is so great. Look, and this is homeopathic. I want to ask this. If homeopathy doesn't work, why is it so prevalent? Why is there so many products with it? Why is like literally 75% of the kids' medicine homeopathic remedies? Answer that. Yes, I am one of those crazy people that happens to think there might be some actual benefits to homeopathy, and that yes, that it is more than sugar pills and stuff, and there might actually have some truth to the energy in the water or whatever. This is actually, I've had real arnica oil, and see, it's like out. And I told my husband, I was like, I want to get real arnica oil. I don't want to get this again but I think it is just as effective as my arnica oil. Arnica is amazing for healing. Amazing. It is one of my kids, we had ceramic tile in a condo we rented in Florida, and he fell off his bed, and I remember when it happened, oh my god, it was so horrible, I felt so bad because they were horsing around, and I should have told them to stop, like, jumping on their beds and stuff, and then I heard it, and I ran in the room, and like, he was getting, like, a goose egg. Fortunately, it was here because it's better to, like, hit your head on the front than the back part of your head, if you didn't know that, and, like, um, I put arnica oil I literally watched the, like, what they call goose egg go down. That was arnica essential oil. Or I'm sorry, just arnica oil, it's not essential oil. Pistachio is a fruit, did you know that? And it takes 7 years before it's ready? No, I didn't know that, Eric. I did know that cashews, they they're really interesting. If you've never seen the fruit that like a cashew, it's really interesting. It's like the cashew encased in this thing, and then like this fruit kind of near it, and that fruit is extremely toxic. Um, yeah, cashews. There was a tree like that in front of this really cool place in Florida. It's like alligator something gardens. I ballooned to 280 pounds while vegan from drinking smoothies. I thought I could have unlimited, but all the fructose and calories added up and I never felt full. Yeah, Ross, that's how I feel whenever the longer I go eating just vegan, which I have tried, I genuinely tried, and I like felt great at first, but then I couldn't satiate myself at all. Even nuts wouldn't do it, you know? But yeah, it's interesting. The whole fructose thing, it's like we definitely need some, right? And it's good to have natural fructose, but oh, Dorito, thank you. But too much. Um, I do Instacart if you didn't guys didn't know, and it's so and I know I sound like I'm making fun. It genuinely saddens me, and I don't think I'm better than these people. You can see in people's Instacart orders if they have diabetes or not, basically. And I am not making fun. It's like these people, that's not mean. They'll get like literal, I am not kidding, like $100 worth of soda. I took a picture. I had 8 12 packs of Sprite the other day, and I was just like, they didn't get much besides that, so I had it all in, like, my passenger seat, because that's gonna be easier for me to get, more, like, high up and whatever, and it's just making me so sad. Every time anybody gets a ton of soda like that, they're always getting boxes of food, cans of food. I get it, we can't afford but if you can afford 8 cases of soda, you can afford some fruit and vegetables and meat, right? And I know this sounds like I'm judging. I say it like this world, some of those people might look down on me because I take kratom every day. I get it. But then there's the people that don't order soda and they have whole food. They get meat and fruit and vegetables, and the most processed thing they're getting is like bread and pasta. And it makes me happy. Like I feel happy for people that they're like, because you have to break free from that sugar addiction. I've done it over and over. I'll probably do it again in my life, where you stop eating the sugar and you realize, wow, I don't crave it like morning, noon, and night once I stop eating it so much. Kevin Price. I mostly grow jalapenos and let them dry out naturally in the sun. Oh, that's cool. I'm really wanting to grow peanuts this year, though. Kevin, that's cool. I grew one peanut plant one time. Adding sand to the soil seemed to help. Also, on a roll of compliments tonight, you are glowing. Hair is magnificent. Thank you, Michael. I've been taking tons of supplements and really trying. Um, I'm gonna get a waist trainer, not because I'm trying to like get a snatched waist, because I have three hernias and I wear like this hernia belt. I have two, and I'm like, and it velcros on. I'm like, basically, I'm gonna be a lot more comfortable with a waist trainer. I've been like trying to push myself and make sure that like, because if I quit this job and my husband has to go back full time to what he's doing, that is a possibility, but I don't want that to happen. You know what I mean? He's going to work part time, but it's going to be better for somebody to be at home with the kid. You can make your own pickled jalapenos with red wine vinegar. Oh, that sounds so good, Ross. Oh, yeah, it does, ceramics. You know what? You got some nice eyes. Thank you, Ricky. I cut the jalapeno along the sides into thin strips to avoid the seeds and then pickle them. You really don't want the seeds. Yes, Ross, that's what adds all the heat, right? You watched the other day, proper interesting, Eric said. Proper interesting. I like that. Boxing fan said your grandpa sounds like a great man. He really was. Be right back. I'm gonna look for jalapenos. He was special. He's the kind of person that's like, I didn't realize how special he was until the older I got, and I'm like, God, he was so cool. I could go on and on, you guys. He always had like, since he was from Switzerland and he immigrated here, he liked to have like foreign exchange students stay with him. Chinese people, particularly, were the only ones I ever met. I think he had people from other countries that worked in the juvenile detention center. He was, God, I should know this. He had like a PhD in psychology or sociology. I'm sorry. I probably should just shut up. But anyways, he was an awesome person who really cared about people, really sincerely, like actually cared about people. Being poor is expensive. They probably also buy cigarettes and lottery. Yeah, Ross. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it is expensive. You get charged more, you get penalized, you have to pay the late fees and stuff. And I this world, I know that is probably isn't the best way to think, but the way I think is like if buying your cigarettes makes you feel a little bit better, helps you get through the day easier. I'm all for it. And I'm not saying you're not, Ross, but Justin, well, I started taking it because of my hernias, getting through 10 to 12-hour shifts at the factory I was working at. Um, Driving home from the factory I was working at, basically, I worked an hour away, and this new job is not that far away, so I am so glad. Honestly, I almost think my Goodyear tires got ran out in 24,000 miles because I was like driving on that rumble strip. So much time spent on that rumble strip, half awake in the middle of the night driving home. It was really not safe. But, anyways, and that's not going to happen now. And so then I quit it for my surgery, but then the pain between my hernias and the incisions, which were difficult, and then I had to get this procedure, sorry guys, sorry if this is TMI, but the things women go through, where like my vagina wasn't healing right, and she had to like cauterize 3 times. I haven't Nobody else I've seen had to have that done 3 times. So a part of me is like, did my hernia make it so that didn't heal right and it kept, but anyways, everything's a lot better now. So don't cry for me. I'm fine. But it is pretty crazy. The second most common surgical procedure done on women is pretty fucking brutal and wild. If you know any woman that's been through a hysterectomy, um, give her a pat on the back. I don't know. Let's come, let's s- see some Hooters. Okay. Like, I know I'm not reading that right. Let's come some Hooters. What? Oh, that's so funny. Hi, how are you? No drinking sugar. Like that should be illegal. That is very good advice, ceramic. Now we like my husband likes his Dr. Thunder. We do buy soda sometimes, but like we don't always have it. And it's like when I do an order where I know this person is, and I'm not making fun, this person is addicted to this. There's this one lady, she gets her Pepsi and her 6 packs of plastic bottles. She's always getting at least six at a time. And she's so sweet. She's such a good person. And like I'm not, she's been so nice to me over the last few years. I've been to her place a lot. And so I like feel for these people. Like I want better for them. I wish they would spend their money or whatever they're getting benefits. I don't care. Whatever they're using, they could be getting something healthier. And I myself had to deprogram myself. My mom taught me there's just water and lettuce and most fruit. They're not that valuable. There's not that many nutrients in them. I don't know where she came up with that, but I think it's a general consensus. A lot of people seem to be under the impression of, and yes, our soils are depleted of nutrients. Food isn't as nutritious as it used to be. That is absolutely true. And that's one reason why, if you can buy food by somebody that cares about it, that is actually putting real thought into the process, that really cares about their land and fertilizing and like right and everything, that's gonna be more nutritionally dense. It is worth more money. It's literal more nutritionally dense. The farm I wanna tell you guys about the farm in Indiana so bad in case somebody could use it, but then I'm, like, afraid somebody would troll them. But, like, I would get everything from this farm besides bread, okay? Dairy, butter, cheese, meat, even lunch meat. They made bologna, nitrate-free bologna. It was cool. I swear I ate probably fewer calories, but felt fuller. You know what I mean? Because the food was more expensive, it wasn't cheap, and granted, this was, like, 8 years ago. "Your eyes remind me of the coast of the Irish Sea," Orca said. "Oh, that's nice. I used to grow dope, but I'm a good boy now. But one peanut is so funny." Yeah, boxing fans, I seriously, it was I was so proud. I tried to grow a few, and the one that sprouted, I didn't know when to harvest it, you know? And I was like so proud of it when I pulled it up, and it was literally like you could see the peanut it grew from, and then the one Gloomerdom, careful adding too many vitamins at once. You may get a reaction and not know which one is causing the side effect. That's very good advice, Gloom. No, that's very good advice. You know, you're very right. And I'm not just saying this, but I do that. You're right, though. Like anything where I'm like, I'm taking a lot of supplements. That's like stuff that I've been taking for years. Like iodine, D-mannose. D-mannose is so good for your urinary tract. If you're like, I have a bladder condition. I don't really get UTIs, but like my bladder condition feels like a UTI basically if I if it flares up. And like sometimes if I can't pee when I need to, which is literally every 20 minutes, that will make it flare up. It's horrible. It's called interstitial cystitis, and men can get it too. It is more common in women. But I've actually, it seems like men get it like more acutely and severe. I don't know. I might be wrong about that, but it almost seems like um it's speculated like it's from babies pressing on your organs and all the trauma of that. It's like having ulcers in the lining of your bladder. I think that it probably has to do with environmental stuff and our food that we eat, right? And I used to not be able to tolerate orange juice, oranges, anything like citric. Like I healed from that. I can tolerate that and not be in horrible pain. Anyways, and the one drug they make for it called Elmiron, okay, it could have changed since it stops your heart. It can stop your heart if you abruptly stop taking it. So if you have this drug in your system to help your bladder not be in horrible pain, and mine is very light. I'm not like this, but some people that are like, medicating themselves because of it, because it's horrible to live with, they it is very expensive. They run the risk of, like, if you lose your Almiron medication, it costs $500 a month, your heart might stop. That was wild to me. So it's like, that's not even an option for me to if it's not life-saving, you know what I mean? But that's very good advice, Gloom. Very, very, very good advice. Seriously. Um, that's one reason I feel about the way they make the jabs they put together, and now they're talking about putting the chicken pox with the MMR. Don't so how do you know what you're reacting to if you react to it? You have 4 things. That's part of the reason why mixing doughs is stupid. You don't know which one you're reacting to, you know? But very true with supplements. And then even in the good things, if you have good benefits, you just start taking a shit ton of stuff at once, you don't know what is really benefiting you, right? But when I do take that, like, I keep DLPM or whatever, I'm going to, like, take just it. Thank you, Lindy McConnell, for saying you are really pretty. You guys are being so sweet tonight. Thank you, Mitchell. So what's it like living beside Colonel Sanders? I am gonna take you guys to his grave. Most vices people have are usually small escapism from the stresses of life. Sugar, alcohol, cigarettes, weed, drugs, TV, internet. Mr. Money Moves. Yes, very well said, Mr. Money Moves. When I was young, I would sneak a couple soda cans from parties to drink at home. Oh, that's kind of sweet. Mitchell, I don't always drink soda, but when I do, it's when it's free. LOL. Michael, I feel sorry for heavyset people always fighting their weight. Sad. Yeah, it would be a hard life. Imagine carrying hundreds of extra pounds all the time. Like it's not easy, you know? And I don't I think I feel for them. Most people have a story or significant medical issues, right? Um, yeah. When I already read that. Are you ready for World War III yet? DD down as ready as I'll ever be. I preferably I'd like to be on a piece of land with a moat. A piece of land. Thank you for sending the 100. Asal Melina? I hope I'm saying that right. Um, but yeah. Good morning. It's Mike Harp. How are you, Mike Harp? Cherry juice helps with inflammation. Oh, that's cool, Monsieur. I've been like I like pineapples. I like getting stuff on sale, but like pineapples, it just seems like you get pretty good bang for your buck with pineapples. You know what I mean? Pineapples and bananas are still fairly reasonable. Like we always have certain fruit around, but oh no, I can't remember. There's a juice. It's some fruit. And my friend recommended it to me when I was trying to get a good biopsy result, like before I decided to get my hysterectomy. And of course, I can't remember it now. It's like really popular in India. Want to say it starts with an M, but that stuff did taste gross. But it's supposed to be like the best thing for anti-cancer stuff. Of course, now I can't remember. It wasn't moringa. If anybody was thinking that, yeah, moringa is one of the most nutritional plants. If you didn't know, it's a complete amino acid. It has all 9 amino acids. It's a complete protein, I'm certain. It has all is it 8 or 9 amino acids to be a complete protein? I had a coworker who drank 18 Mr. Pibb per day. That's horrible, Ross. I couldn't imagine. Big Ben Blue said, "Cool username." I don't know who you're saying it to. Everybody has cool usernames. Cranberry juice helps with inflammation, Greg. Yeah. And D-mannose is a protein derived from it's a sugar protein in cranberry. It's basically what makes cranberry so good for like helping to flush out UTI things. Yes, you can ask something, Luke. Don't feel bad. I stopped fighting my weight a long time ago, Mr. Minnie Moose said. I'm already married. Hi, let's see some Hooters. No, sorry. It's like um the 90s kid that grew up with Beavis and Butthead and me so many times where I've been laughing at some stupid joke. And I turn to my kids and they're like, okay. I think I'm being like the cool mom, be like, and then they're like, that's not funny, mom. Just waiting for the crash, followed by oopsie. Sorry, guys. Gloom said, I'm not going to sing Jingle Bells right now, Justin. Can you tell me how I can get a white girl that looks like you? Well, a Demille. Adam meal preps. A Demille. A damn meal. Sorry. It's so funny to me, like, when you see a license plate and you can't make out when it's like a vanity plate, you can't make out what it is, and then you realize that it's like, "Oh my gosh." I always had people tell me that they liked the fact that I looked white, but kind of, mm, but not all white, right? Is that what you're talking about? Adam meal preps? Not trying to toot my own horn, but you know what I mean? Um, is actually kind of gross. Literally had those that rich guy told me that. Mm, he liked dark-skinned women, but he would never go out with one or be seen with one and just stick his penis in one. You know what I'm sorry. It's so bizarre to me how people think like that in 2000 something. You need superfoods and antioxidants, pomegranate, blueberries, spirulina, red bell peppers, tomatoes, and blue green algae. But yeah, you need to eat. So I got seaweed. Hi, Andrew. How are you? It was on sale. And I'm like, this is one of those things we buy like once a year, you know? and it was so cute. My 8-year-old liked it. He, like, ate all of it. I took one bite, I was like, "Ew, it's too fishy for me," and I like seafood, but it was kinda, like, just not good, in my opinion. Um, even though if it was, like, in sushi, I would have been fine with that, but something about eating just crisp seaweed that tasted like slimy fish, I don't know, I love fish, but anyways, uh I thought that was so stinking cute the way that kid liked that, and I'm like, maybe pica is a condition where kids or anybody, you eat dirt, or some kids just eat anything they can. It's like literally anything they find on the floor they put in their mouth. I had one kid, I'm not gonna say he had pica, but one of our kids did that shit. Took years off my life. I can't tell you how many things I pulled out of that kid's mouth. It was crazy. And then like the other one was like the exact opposite. Like he even when he teethed, he didn't chew on stuff. He just like didn't want anything in his mouth. And anyways, I think that a lot of that is seeking nutrients. And other people speculate that, hey Stone Papa Smurf, how are you? Other people have said the same thing, that it is somebody a mineral or nutrient deficiency in kids that are like eating dirt, especially like it kind of makes sense, right? Like mineral deficiency, you're like seeking that, and people get so grossed out, but I know some people are just I saw this okay, it was ready to glare, reacting. Yeah, I do like sushi, Ruby. Although I don't trust a lot of seafood nowadays, unfortunately. Fortunately, I ate some really good sushi before Fukushima, but I feel like everything is like radiated. Nobody talks about Fukushima anymore. When Fukushima first happened, there was somebody I followed. This was years and years and years ago on Facebook. And she was like Lucy from the Peanuts. You know, I'm talking about Lucy with the dark hair. And it was just like this account that talked about Fukushima. Hi, only Ken, how are you? And they basically said like, in a few years' time, like it's all, everything in this portion of the ocean is going to be radiated by 2000, what was it, like 2015? It's like everything in the ocean is gonna be, like, radiated, but I'm not saying that for a fact. That was what was speculated. Because if you didn't know, the Fukushima reactors are still leaking. My mom ate dirt and chalk about 10 years ago. I was always like, "What the fuck?" Ben said, "Yeah, that Dewey Brown. Hi, how are you?" It is, thank you, only Ken. It is something I think most people it could be sensory seeking, it could, but I think a lot of times it's more than that. Hi, Larry, how are you? How are you doing, Stone Papa? I just wish I could sober up from these drinks. Joe Mama, you need to, well, there's no real way to just keep in mind if you feel bad, like hungover, you need to get some good electrolytes and minerals in you. You're not dehydrated as much as minerals have been displaced in your body. And a lot of people associate being you might be dehydrated too, but I'm saying it's more than just mere dehydration. You need to add minerals back. Never answer racy comments trying to trap you, said Uncle said. Sometimes it can be slightly entertaining, but bananas for hangover, potassium. Oh, that's good. I never thought about that, but that is a really good idea. Don't drink the devil's elixir. What is that, Ross? What is the devil's elixir? Ugh. I'm doing good, Mr. Gator. How are you? I feel better. I honestly was like in a mood, and I was like, it's always hard. It's harder to get on live when you haven't done it for, like, a few days, or, the longer it has been, the harder it is to, like, press that live button, but I'm like, "I'm gonna be glad when I do it." I was like, "I'm gonna feel better." And, Larry was so weird. Don't drink the devil's elixir. Still wanna know what you talking about alcohol. Oh. Yeah, God takes care of his earth, all universe, Michael Cox said. I like to think so. I'm glad you're doing fine, mister. I think that everything happens the way it's supposed to. And yeah. So if these crazy people who are in charge of everything think they can, and I'm not an expert on this stuff, but they're trying to like bypass some stuff, right? By thinking they're going to cause the second coming of Jesus. Isn't there like a few more things that needs to happen before then? Is it called the tribunals? And those crazy people, like they have to be on the wrong side of things. Like But that's what's so maddening is, like, it's not a question of if. This isn't you're a crazy conspiracy theorist if you see things for what they are, like, it is what it is, it is what they are. It's undeniable. And there's, like, not much we can do about it immediately, but I do think if we tried, we could really try to work harder for the future, and that would be different. We need to do our own little secret society thing, and I think scripting doesn't mean it's scripture, Gloom Redeem said. Ooh, I like that. The longer I talk, the more I get, like, congested when it's, kind of problems you like to have, though. I should probably just go, "Oh, 102 likes, that's so nice, you guys. I hardly ever break 100 with my likes." I wonder how many views I've gotten on this. Well, yeah, the whole point of this channel is, like, I really do want to focus and try to, like, offer good content to you guys, and I've been a little stunted lately with everything going on. A lot of it did have to do with my kid, and I don't wanna, like, sit here and cry about my kid because he is awesome, and I do look at it as, like, a gift in a way that, like, I try to look at it like this. So freaking adorable, and it's just like so our last kid is gonna be our baby for a little bit longer, and I hope he doesn't always need help every day with everything the rest of his life, but, like, probably will, and, it is a blessing to have him as a part of our family, and I don't ever want to make anybody think the only time I talk about my kid, I'm, like, complaining about him or it's, like, me having a bad day, which I don't think I've done, because I don't, but there's been several times I wanna say this because it's so funny. America has cleanest air of any country. Really, Michael? Really? Maybe. Some of it isn't, though. Some of it isn't. There's been several people Jesus actually returns twice, end of days and 1,000-year golden age under the rule of Jesus and the saints, and Satan gets a season, 250 years, and then Jesus comes back. Oh, oh! Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay. Hi, Jorge. How are you? Scoops up everyone in its final judgment, Gloom said. Whenever this has happened like 3 times, like, one time my kid was having a horrible meltdown in Express, the store Express. That's the outlet store, and they have some really good deals in that Express outlet store, if you can it's really good deals, I think this was in Edinburgh, Indiana, but anyways, he was just freaking out, and this girl that worked there, she's like, "He's really cute." Happened 2 other times where he's, like, losing his shit, and whoever we're interacting with, they're like, "Oh, but at least he's really cute," and I'm like, "Yeah." He is, um, such a light in the world, and it really sucks, though, to feel like you're, like, not doing enough or failing your kid in this world when everything costs so much, everything's a wait list. So many things, are unattainable for people that, like, need the help, you know? There have been at least 12 gods who have exactly the same birth life of Jesus Christ before he was even around. Look to your history. Yeah, Lucky Bear. I think, you know, before the Son of God, people worship the sun in the sky. There's always that. Revelation 21 through 10. Okay. Now I've rambled enough, and I feel like I'm probably ready to go to bed. Luke, I'm married. But anyways, there is all sorts of love to look forward to. Romantic love, like whatever it is. I hope everybody has love in their life that wants it, but don't focus on like just romantic love. You know what I mean? Sometimes that'll do the opposite. I love all of you guys, and it was fun talking to you. And I wanted to like make a speech, about the Marine got his arm broke with help of one of our senators. And to turn around and say, well, he asked what he got. He got what he asked for, whatever. There's not really much to say. Like, I think everybody feels the same that's a part of this community. And I shouldn't assume, I mean, whatever. You can feel whatever you want. But Horus first, God and evil. Have a great night. Well, I think it's always been about good versus evil, for sure. Have a good night again. Good luck on that job. I start in like, I forget. It's over a week, but I will talk to you guys soon. Jesus Christ told the disciples, "When you see me, you also see the Father." Michael said. That soldier was graphic. Yeah, it's like so um personally, I would love to see a bunch of our military members like put their feet down, but yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen. Love you guys. Good night. I hope you sleep well.